Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. All the Trumpaholics are ecstatic. He's going to make his return to Facebook. And again, you guys, 25th day of the year. Once upon a time, when he first took office, Time magazine put out the article about how he could be the first president removed with the 25th Amendment. Remember, you are listening to the Gematria Effect, and of course, in Gematria, the name Trump equals 25, and as we've explained 1,000 times, from the removal of Alex Jones to Donald Trump to his reinstatement, every last one of these rituals is by the code. Again, you learn Gematria, you see through what is going on in this nation. I'm up here in Washington State. Just yesterday was the 24th, and the news story was the mass shooting in the small town of Yakima. 3 dead at 3:30 in the morning at the Circle K. And they said the suspect fled in a car heading east on Route 25. Or excuse me, not Route 25, but Route 24 on the 24th. And again, in Yakima, the Masonic Lodge is number 24. And guess what Yakima equals in Gematria? 24. Or if you run it in reverse, it equals 39. And they said it was the 39th mass shooting of the year. If you guys missed my coverage of that yesterday on my YouTube channel, I did go to the scene of the standoff as they reported it on the news. And it was more like a stand around with cops with their hands in their pocket. And the comical thing was the SWAT vehicle, all the vehicles were right at the intersection of a street spelled A-L-M-O. Only missing one letter from Alamo. The standoff at almost Alamo is what I call it. But no, it wasn't a standoff. And then later it turned out that he wasn't even there. It looked like a total drill. And if you want to watch that video, you can see what happened because there was no police tape at the crime scene that had supposedly been going on from 7 a.m. until I got there at 1:30 p.m. And until I showed up, there was no yellow tape anywhere. When I showed up, one of the cops came over and got real forceful and shoved me around, and then they put up crime tape and said, "Don't cross that line or we'll arrest you." And I only went there to ask some questions and make some observations. And again, to document the taxpayer dollars at work, what the psychological operation looks like, another riddle, the almost Alamo on Elmo. And keep in mind, that was one day after the Monday Half Moon Bay shooting, which followed the Lunar New Year shooting, where all of a sudden Asian grandpas are serial killers. And of course, we got the Lunar New Year festival shooting. The news came from recently sworn in Robert Luna, the new head of the LA County Sheriff's Department, Robert Luna, to give us the Lunar New Year's news. And again, just one letter off from Lunar, like Almo's one letter off from Alamo. And we'll see if we get a continuation of the story, say when February 23rd comes around, the anniversary of the start of the Alamo. The Alamo situation was 30 days before the anniversary, and in Gematria, Alamo does equal 30. But again, you guys, you have this knowledge, you look at the wordplay, and you see the undeniable rituals, the undeniable psychological operations that are being used to, keep people in fear and create this excuse from Big Brother why we need to lose our rights and liberties, why we need to be disarmed as a nation. And again, it's been nonstop ever since September 11th. very obvious ritual, very obvious psychological operations. And like I was saying yesterday, because we didn't call 9/11 for what it was, an obvious inside job waged by our own government. And you have to remember what came out of that. A whole culture of fear blossomed out of that. There was already a culture of fear here, but it just got so much bigger. And just remember all of the spending on little dinky police departments throughout the nation, militarizing the police, giving them the armored vehicles. That's what I was documenting in Yakima. It looked like it was Operation Desert Storm. These big military armored vehicles driving down the street. A lot of SWAT in their gear, holding multiple rifles. Like some of them even had sniper rifles. Our police look just like military now. And all of this came out of the most obvious lie there ever was, the national emergency on 911, which was planned many decades in advance. Thus, why 911 became the national emergency dialing code in the same year World Trade Center construction began. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to open up with. Essentially, if you don't extinguish a lie, the lie only gets bigger with time, and that's what we're now living out. The legacy of lies, the legacy of psychological operations. And again, it did start before 9/11. Go back and read the coverage of Columbine. Go look at the birthdays of the two Columbine shooters back in 1999. One of them, their birthday was September 11th. And CNN reported that they journaled that they wanted to hijack planes and fly them into skyscrapers in New York City. No doubt, predictive programming. So anyway, that's all I really want to say right now. And we'll let it be caller-driven tonight. If you guys want to talk about the recent mass shootings, the latest racial psyop they're trying to bring about, out of Memphis, the supposed killing of a man named Tyree that spelled like tire just before the MLK holiday, or anything else related to the mind control operations being waged against America, always through the screens. The line is open. 213-233-3998. And with that said, let's go out to the first caller, New York. New York, you're on 845. 845. All right, we'll try out the next caller. He's always got a lot to say. What's up, George?
Hello, Zach.
How you doing, George?
Well, great, and yourself. Thank you for taking my call. Sorry, I'm just turning off the radio. Okay, a couple of things. I realize there were a lot of callers. I'll be as quick as possible. I know that you did a couple of streams regarding the whole, event in Yakima. I'll call it the Bang Bang event. Whether that actually happened, who knows? But I know, who the sheriff, the chief of police in Yakima, his name is Matt Murray. I looked at his LinkedIn page. Turns out he got his undergrad degree from Regis University in Denver.
Go figure.
Okay, so now as you said, Yakima is not that big. It has maybe 100,000-ish people.
Here, just for people who don't know, that's a Jesuit university in Denver.
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have clarified that.
And also, just so people know, in light of how I'm educating about how the Jesuits operate by this code each day, his police title adds up to 241. And what day was he giving the news of this supposed shooting of 3 dead at 3:30 in the morning? 24/1. So, news by the numbers.
Okay, so, all right, so over the last several days, there have been 4 major shootings on the West Coast. The aforementioned Yakima, and I know you've gone over this several times. Yakima, Half Moon Bay, Oakland, and Monterey Park, California. So they seem to be ramping this up. Now, for what it's worth, do you know what qualifies as a mass shooting?
Well, it seems that they continue to change the definition. So I thought once upon a time it was 4 or more people injured, but they've been saying ones with less people than that are mass shootings. So, And again, I mean, it's just
Okay.
like, where are all these shootings? They said Yakima was 39, and there were 3 people shot. Possibly a 4th was how they put it. Maybe they did it that way to get the 39th. But where are the 30-some other mass shootings that have supposedly happened this year?
Well, probably the usual places like Chicago or South Chicago, South Central LA. But something I wanted to, they seem to be ramping up this anti-Second Amendment agenda. Now, I sent you a comment on one of your videos. Was it Gavin Newsom, our beloved governor here in California, said on Monday that America has a suicide pact with the Second Amendment? Could you decode that?
Who said what?
Gavin Newsom said on Monday, the United States has a suicide pact with the Second Amendment.
Okay, I will look into that.
Okay, so I realize he's not writing his script. He has handlers who write these things for him. And just like Joe Biden has handlers, Andrew Cuomo, all these puppets, Justin Castro Trudeau up in Canada, the people who tell them what to say. So, but I realize we could just laugh and banter about, but something people don't realize is, are you familiar with the term democide?
Remind me what that means.
It means death by government, i.e. death by Vatican-controlled government.
Okay.
In the 20th century alone, governments were responsible for at least 250 million deaths, 250 million people on the low end, in terms of, say, wars, famines, putting people in gulags and concentration camps. But that's probably, the number is probably at least twice that. So even if all these events, such as in Yakima or Half Moon Bay or Sandy Hook or whatever, either are completely organic, there's no government involvement whatsoever, relatively few people die as a result of this. You're way more likely to be murdered at the hands of your government than some sort of random shooter. Also, Did you catch the name of the alleged shooter in Yakima? Was it Jared Haddock?
Like a fish, yeah, with a really weird spelling of Jared. And by the way, they said that first they put out a story that Jared was in police custody, and then that story got wiped, and then they said he took his life with a self-inflicted gunshot wound by the Target store. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I did drive over to the Target store just to check, and there was nothing going on at the Target store. No police, no sirens. I drove all around the neighborhood, back and forth down every street behind it to try and figure out where they were. Nothing going on around the Target store, but that's the headline they put out. Completely bogus propaganda. If I had to bet, 0 people were killed at 3:30 in the morning at the Circle K. There wasn't any evidence. I mean, I went there also last night. You'd think there'd be some blood. I mean, blood's not the easiest thing to clean away. There was no evidence that anything happened anywhere. That's all I can tell you from being there with boots on the ground. And again, just more evidence of another ritual by the numbers, and then reported in the news as a standoff, and then you get there and nothing's going on, and everyone looks bored as everything, casual as ever, on a street that's almost spelled like Alamo. Okay, go ahead, George.
Okay, so the alleged shooter in Yakima was named Jared Haddock, or I'm sorry, was it Haddock?
Jared Haddock, yeah.
Okay, which sounds like Stephen Paddock, the alleged shooter in Vegas back in 2017.
Right. It does.
So I'm just wondering, how many of these alleged shooters, Stephen Paddock, whatever, Adam Lanza, don't even exist? They're completely fabricated.
I think a whole lot of them.
Okay. Also, can I just mention one last thing before I sign off? I realize you have other callers and Rambo and so forth, but did you do a video on Sal Bando, or did you talk about him? The great he was a decent ball player back in the 1970s.
Which ball player from the 70s?
Sal Bando. He played third base for the Oakland A's. Now, his cause célèbre is he played for the 1972, 73, and 74 Oakland A's. Their cause célèbre was they're the only team besides the New York Yankees to win 3 consecutive World Series. Now, he finished out his career with the Milwaukee Brewers and became general manager. He died at the age of 78. So, sorry, I forgot when he died, but it's this month. So he was born in February, I think, 1944. So he died just short of his 79th birthday. I'm sure you could go look those up. Now, for what it's worth, his son, Sal Bando Jr., is the baseball coach at Marquette University, Marquette University High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Right. More Jesuit schools. Okay.
Okay, so now you say when they eliminate people like a couple years ago, Hank Aaron died, and the Braves won the World Series that year. So does that mean Oakland is going to win the World Series, or the Brewers?
No, because they kill so many players, every year by the numbers. Sometimes they're connected to the championship game, but not always. So, and since he is in the Bay Area, there is a Bay Area team that's on the verge of a championship appearance right now, and they did just announce the death of one of their former players, Ed Beard, 23 days before the Super Bowl, and we'll see if they do a rematch of Super Bowl 23 with 23-year-old Brock Purdy. Number 13, they're just one game from a 13-game winning streak, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. So sometimes they just eliminate people because they want to?
Well, like I just said, he's a sports player who's connected to the Bay Area. So 49ers are in the conference championship.
Okay. So, I did have another topic, but I guess I'll have to wait until next time.
All right, George.
Well, have a good evening, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. You have a good night.
Yeah.
And just, again, with regards to the Jesuits controlling everything from rig sports, keep in mind the 49ers don't play in San Francisco anymore. They play in Jesuit town, Santa Clara. There's a lot more to say about that, but that's where Gavin Newsom's got his Jesuit education. But remember, the mass shooting, the first one in California, the Lunar New Year shooting, was 103 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday. This is the 103rd NFL season. And in that game between the 49ers and Cowboys, Dak Prescott stayed on 103 games played by losing. Also, the 49ers became 19-19 versus the Cowboys all time, winning with 19 points. And it was a span of 1,919 days since the last time the Cowboys played in San Francisco. And notice the 49ers won 19-12. They got their 12th straight win on 12-date numerology, which is what we expected to happen, knowing the knowledge. And in the other game that was played that day, the Bengals and the 49ers for 2 years in a row have played on the anniversary of Super Bowl 23. Super Bowl 23 was 49ers beating the Bengals. But 2 years in a row, the 49ers and Bengals have both advanced on January 22nd, the anniversary of Super Bowl 23. And that date's 122, like San Francisco equals 122, the city on the 122nd meridian. But again, 103 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday, Gavin Newsom last year on February 18th gave a speech about gun control where he singled out the state Texas. So then the football game right after the shooting, and really the football game was the day of the shooting news, January 22nd. You got Dallas from Texas playing, his hometown team. And again, in the 103rd season. And then right after that, Joe Biden comes out and calls for an assault weapons ban, which equals 103. And the politician who talked about the Half Moon Bay shooting that they had on TV4 Mr. Becker, he's born on the 103rd day of the year, and he's also calling for the assault weapons ban. And it goes on and on and on and on. They got the Gematria of Jesuit order encoded all over both mass shootings, which is nothing new. So again, there should be absolutely zero doubt at this point based on how much evidence we provided over the last decade of who is doing this, who's rigging the sports games, who's connecting it with the rigged news rituals, the rigged elections. We're proving it year after year, cycle after cycle, and so often calling it before it happens. And all the numbers point in one direction. And it's the only direction they really ever could point because in the 16th century, the language became standardized as it is today. Again, look into the 16th century, 26-letter English alphabet, all the vowels re-shifted to what they are now. The Gregorian calendar named after the Pope came out, and both of those things followed the establishment of the Jesuits in the 16th century. All right, let's go out to Texas. What's going on, Texas? 409.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So November 2nd, 2023, I think that would be the perfect day for Kamala Harris to become president.
Okay.
She turned 59, exactly 59 days from the Pope's birthday. And it's got the 56 numerology as well. And November 2nd is the day leaving 59 days left in the year. That's the day the Chicago Bears won the World Series, and if you write out 59 as a word, it equals 108. Also, it would be the 106th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration, I believe.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the blood sacrifice number.
121 is, not 112. The Jesuits operate Oh, go ahead. What?
The 106.
106 isn't a blood sacrifice number. It's a number heavily connected to Black history.
Oh, okay. Well, I got that wrong, but yeah, the Balfour Declaration is what basically gave way to Israel becoming a nation, right?
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Well, I think it's a great educated guess. The only ingredient I would say it's missing, but not necessarily, is that's 18 days before Joe Biden's 81st birthday. And our prediction's similar. I predicted that Kamala would become president when she turns 59 and after Joe Biden's 81. Because, again, he supposedly got 81 million votes in the 59th presidential election. And we all know about how 59's coded all over Black history, just like the latest story out of Memphis. But, yeah, your guess could be right. We'll see. That could be right.
Yeah, that's just a little prediction I wanted to say.
All right. Well, I appreciate the thought, and I think it's a good thought. So we'll see what happens. I do suspect she will become the first female president. Appreciate it. All right. Let's go out to Michigan. Sometimes he's got something to say, sometimes not. What's up, Michigan?
Hey, how you doing, Zach?
Doing all right. How are you?
Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I'm good, man. There is no call-in listen line anymore for TFR. It's been gone for over a year. So the only way I can listen is with this line. And I try not to get on too early, but I hate to miss your monologue.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. If it's working better for you, I'm going to call the listen line right now. 641-793-7117 is the listen line. 641-793-7117. I'm just trying it out. Haven't tried it out for a minute. It used to work. It's working. It's working.
Really?
Yeah.
And you don't get dead air.
No, I went there. I could hear your conversation when I went right in. So.
Okay, I'm going to try. I'll check it out.
Yeah, for anybody who needs for people who call into the call board to listen, it's fine. But if you don't want me to go to your call because you just want to listen, 641-793-7117. All right, Michigan. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. I think you already switched over to the listen line. All right, let's go out to Truth Does Exist.
Hey, Zach, do I have a time before the break, or can you come back to me afterward?
We got a minute and a half. Should be enough time.
Okay, I'll be fast. So, have you watched the movie? Well, never mind. Let me stay on topic first. All these mass shootings, it's funny because, these supposed mass shootings, it's like one person killing one other person. Sorry, but that's not a mass shooting. And the other thing is that what these people don't address is that if we get rid of guns, what about all the other mass killings like bombings, chemical warfare, running people over with guns, with cars? What's going to happen with all that stuff? Because, you know, my school, they put a bomb in 2014 and they didn't even make it past the newspaper. And nobody talks about that because bombs are already illegal. You know, what's going to happen there? You know, they never talk about that. But it's only gun killings are the ones that matter. The other point I want to get to, you have to watch the movie Tenet. Tenet is a movie from 2020. If I don't have time to make the point, please come back after me because I really want to make this point. So Tenet's a movie from 2020, and it's about World War III. I'll give you a wild guess what country it starts out in and what country it's surrounded in.
Ukraine.
Yep. And so it's about Ukraine, and it's about also a Russian arms dealer. And it kind of reminded me of how we traded Brittany Griner for a Russian arms dealer. And, you know, the movie's from 2 years ago, so it was 2 years before the whole Ukraine thing even happened. And, you know, that's basically what it's about. It's about World War III, and it starts in Ukraine, and it's centered around the Russians.
Good one. We'll be right back.
I learned very young from my parents, absolutely, that you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's going to be laid better than this brick that I'm going to lay in this next 10 minutes. Yeah. And you do that every single day. And soon you have a wall. And I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big the task is. The task is never huge to me. It's always one brick.
Me too. It's amazing how people have been raving about ILife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with ILife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with ILife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ILife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ILife.com, AYALife.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker, and I think Rambo might be phoning in from a different number tonight. Is this Rambo?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Is this Rambo?
Hello?
Yeah. How you doing, Rambo?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to address something. It's very important to address. I mean, you'd agree, I mean, lately, for a while, I mean, you've been pretty critical of my work. I mean, in videos and stuff, especially talking my, I guess, my decoding style, which, I mean, initially, I mean, I appreciate you giving me this platform, but recently my decoding style, I guess, you found it unnecessarily complicated, and it's not as direct. And I do accept, you know, a criticism, but it has been a lot of criticism lately over several months. And over, again, I accept criticism, that's fine. It's over my videos and my decodes. And also last week, I did my decoding after I got off. The following, after the following person who did their decode, you were talking specifically about Donald Trump and his connection to Jesuits and how you use the Gematria numbers and how, you know, Rambo likes to go through, you know, Batman and the beautiful, all this stuff and how it's unnecessary. I mean, just in general, lately, I mean, let's be honest, there has been a bit of, I feel like a disagreement in decoding stuff. I mean, I don't disagree with anything. I just feel everybody has a different way of looking at things. But there does seem to be an issue with my decoding style. I mean, I hope you still pick my decode here, but I think it was not a fair assessment.
Well, I didn't realize that you thought I'd been so critical of your posts lately.
No, yeah, in videos. I mean, you'll praise my channel, praise my work, but then you'll say a lot of things that's wrong. And again, criticism is fine, but it's you know, I hardly get any criticism at all. But it just turns out at the moment you're my biggest critic. Even some people are shocked. They're even surprised that I don't say anything. And usually, yeah, that's what I just present my information, and I'm about bringing the community together. So no, I usually don't get into these things. But last week, I finished my decode, and specifically, the very thing he said to the caller was, "Where's the effect?" And this is not the only time that my decodes are unnecessarily complicated. Again, I appreciate criticism, constructive criticism, but I had just been on.
I don't know if you heard that from somebody else, but I've never quoted that your decodes are unnecessarily complicated. I mean, I always praise your decodes. I think I've said that, you know,
yeah.
Your decodes are very complex, but that wasn't a criticism. I mean, your decodes are complex.
Yes, I mean, you do praise them, but at the same time, you do criticize, which, again, criticism is fine, but usually it's in videos or live streams. But last week I was on, but the following caller, we talked about Donald Trump's connection to Jesuits and how Gematria makes the connection. It's very simple, it's very direct, very surface level, and that Rambos are unnecessarily complicated. But then I'm not against criticism, that's fine. It's just when I was on the air, if it's constructive criticism, it's not one time I was off.
Okay, well, I don't think I ever said that your decodes are unnecessarily complicated. If I did, that was bad phrasing, but that's not the way I would describe your work. I mean, I always give your work a lot of praise, so.
Yeah, you do, but like if somebody praises you, but then they say, but, it almost takes away the compliment. Like, he's a great guy, but it's like, okay, whatever happens, what you say after the but is almost entirely. I think I know it's a difficult thing to talk about, and I just thought that I had to mention it because there has seemed lately to be I know it's a hard thing to talk about. It's important. There is some tension. I'm detecting some which hasn't been there. I've been here like almost 5 years. I've been doing it. It's like 4 years, and I think 9 months, almost 10 months, almost 5 years. It's amazing. But the last several months is where I'm feeling more like there seems to be more tension between my decoding style and yours, which is fine. Yours is more Gematria. That's another thing. I think you mentioned I don't really use Gematria as much. So yeah, I've just been noticing a bit more, I guess, some tension in the decoding styles.
Okay, well, if I said that, I definitely didn't use the right phrasing, but I thought lately I'd been giving you more time than ever. I appreciate you coming on. You don't have to come on if you don't want to.
No, I mean, it's not that. I mean, and I can accept criticism. Just the criticism happens when I'm not on the air. Like, you said, hey, Rambo, great decode, and then the next caller you said about Donald Trump. No, this is the way you connect Donald Trump to Jesuits, and you did the Gematria. And it's the Gematria. It's direct, it's simple. But Rambo goes, again, I'm paraphrasing, I can't say exactly, but you don't need, Rambo goes into all these unnecessarily, I mean, the phrasing is, I'm paraphrasing, so the actual wording is not verbatim necessarily, but the gist of it was that my decodes are unnecessarily fast. I guess they go into areas. I think I said it, I mean, you've given me a platform, talking about things like astrology, sacred feminine. It's the fact that you give me that platform, and I appreciate that, but there just seems to be more of a disagreement. I mean, and that's the thing. I accept the disagreement and the critique, but it's always done when I'm not there. Like, I got off the air, then that's when you told the next caller how, your way of connecting Trump to Jesuits is more effective, I guess, or more direct, or easier to understand the mind. But you said off the air after I got off. And you done a lot of criticism in live streams as well. I mean, there's been a ton of people were shocked. And they're also shocked that I don't say anything. I mean, I like to keep things peaceful, and I'm all about unity, but I know it's a tough thing to talk about. I just wanted to bring up this tension that between decoding styles that I've detected lately.
Okay, well, I didn't realize there was a tension. I appreciate that you brought it to my attention. I guess I'll be more gentle in any criticism I might offer, but yeah,
No, it's not. No, it's not gentle in criticism. If you say gentle in criticism, the implication is I'm very sensitive and I can't handle criticism. That's not the issue. I can handle criticism. It's just that if someone says, "Oh, your work is great," and then when I'm off the air, then they criticize it. I mean, be honest. I mean, you have done. I mean, you praise them, like my videos, and then you do have some criticism. Like, I don't do enough Gematria stuff. I miss it's another one that comes up a lot. That I miss the most obvious things. I get really complex, but I miss the most obvious. That one you said several times, and it's not that I'm sensitive to criticism. It's just that it's done when I'm not there, and then when I'm there, I'm told like, "Oh, it's great,"
Okay, well,
I just had to bring it up. I don't think it's
well, Rambo.
Yeah.
We can talk about this more later, but do you want to do the presentation tonight?
Yes, I did make the presentation.
Okay.
But then, but I have to clear there on this because there's also part of this part of my presentation that and I didn't do it intentionally. I didn't do it as a response. It just came up in the decode, which has to do with what happened last week when I got off the air, and then you told the next caller how connecting the way I connect Trump to Jesuits was unnecessarily complicated, and the way you do it through Gematria is more effective.
I don't think I said that, Rambo.
What is that?
I don't think that's what I said.
No, yes, it did. The very next caller.
Okay, I'll go back and listen, and if that's what I said, I will upload a video and I will make a direct apology. But yeah, if that's what I said, that's not what I meant. So, but again, the only point I was trying, if I said anything along those lines, I was just making the point that Rambo's work is really great and complicated, but at the same time, Gematria is really simple. It's just like Trump equals 25. Look, he's reinstated by Facebook on the 25th. I mean, that's simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can take constructive criticism. It's not when it's not directed to me. You know, I mean, directly, if I'm there on the air, then when it's said, I get so much feedback on stuff that was said in live streams. Again, not to overdo it, but like I've heard the one I hear a lot is that I always miss the audience because. Yeah, maybe I do overthink.
Okay. All right. If that's offending you, sometimes I do say I'm surprised that Rambo misses some things that I think he would have in there for sure. But Rambo, I don't mean those as slights. Again, I give you nothing but praise. I love having you on the show. I love promoting your channel. You do really great work for the community, and you know, you can always call me privately if you're upset about something. But I think it's okay that we're doing it on the show because you know, I guess people can just see how everyone feels. So.
Yeah, but again, I'm fine with criticism. I know when you put yourself out there, not everyone's going to agree, especially the stuff I do. So few people can understand it, but it's hard to. So yeah, but if I don't like consider criticism if it's done directly to me and just not when I'm not there. I mean, I'm not sensitive to criticism. I get criticized all the time. I don't even. Hey, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, Rambo, but seriously. If I offended you, I apologize for that. But again, I do heap on all the praise, and it's deserved, and you've done great work for the community. And all I meant by that comment, I got to go back and listen to how I said it. Maybe I said it wrong, but I was just trying to remind people that, Rambo's work is complicated. It's like advanced, At the same time, Gematria can be very simple just to kind of see how the rituals go day after day. Like Yakima 24. The suspect's going down Route 24. The Masonic Lodge in town is number 24. But then what I love about you is you can take that to a whole new level because you understand things that most people don't. So anyhow, Rambo, let's if we could please get to the presentation. That's what people really want to hear. But I do appreciate that you brought your concern to my attention. I'll go back and listen to what I said because I didn't mean for it to come off that way.
Yeah, okay. But still, it's important to clear that if I'm going to continue to, because a lot goes into my presentation, a lot goes into just preparing for you, a lot of energy. And so I don't feel, if there's an issue, I should be brought up,
Sure. Well, I appreciate that you brought it up.
Yeah, and I appreciate you giving me the platform. You didn't have to. But credit to you, a lot of stuff I do is not things that you were into. For somebody to give a platform to somebody who's doing something very radically different than they do, it's pretty rare. I appreciate that. It's just lately it seemed to be more of an issue than it had been. But okay, so my deco today is New York. That's the title: New York, the Yankees, George Washington, and St. Peter's Cross. So on December 25th, we have a historic signing of the New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge to a historic $360 million 9-year contract, which I did decode on that, the 360 cycle, but that's not part of this. But it was a historical event, and it brought the New York Yankees to the fore. I mean, for those who are not aware, the New York Yankees are the most winningest franchise, the professional sports team in the United States that has won the most championships is the New York Yankees. They won 27. No other team has won that many. And they're very aligned with George Washington, the President George Washington. And New York in general is aligned with George Washington, so are the New York Yankees. This is the first president of the United States. And you'll see rituals involving New York and George Washington and the New York Yankees being such an intrinsic part of the culture and identity of New York City. And many people are not aware of this. They assume it's Philadelphia most likely, but no, George Washington was inaugurated as the first president of the United States in New York City. It is in, whereas we have present-day Wall Street in the south of Manhattan, that is where George Washington was inaugurated. He was actually inaugurated in New York City. And so one of the locations of the Revolutionary War, there were multiple battles fought in what is modern-day New York City by George Washington. And so you'll see there's so many monuments, places named after George Washington in the city of New York. And
there's a neighborhood in New York City called Washington Heights. It's named after George Washington. Actually, Washington Heights in Upper Manhattan was actually the scene of many of George Washington's victories in the Revolutionary War, and also his worst defeat as well, Washington Heights. And there was it's like a group of forts, not one fort, there were a group of forts. They were called Fort Washington. They were named after him. And that's actually the location of the New York Yankees' very first home stadium. It was called Hilltop Park, and it was in Washington Heights. So that's George Washington title of New York City and with the Yankees. Of course, they moved later. They're now in the Bronx, which isn't that far from Washington Heights. And so the Yankees' current stadium, Yankee Stadium, is actually right adjacent to the George Washington Bridge. The George Washington Bridge runs east to west across the Hudson River, and on the east side is New York City, on the west side is New Jersey. So on the east side of the George Washington Bridge is Washington Heights. So the bridge is named after him, a neighborhood is named after him. Yankee Stadium is, normally there's going to be traffic jams, there's a lot of traffic in there, but it should be about a 6-minute drive. It's right near Yankee Stadium, and that is strategic. That's part of the esoteric, maybe geomancy is part of it. I don't go into bridge symbolism, but bridge symbolism is a huge part of it. But it's no coincidence that one end of the George Washington Bridge is close to Yankee Stadium. They're put in the same location. All of that is geomancy. And so it's only 6 minutes away from Yankee Stadium. So the current New York Yankees president is Randy Levine, and he headed the press conference to announce Aaron Judge's new contract. Randy Levine was born on February 22nd. That is 1955. That's George Washington's birthday. President George Washington was also born on February 22nd. And the Yankees are connected to George Washington. In astrology, you have the Pluto return. Pluto is the outermost planet, so when Pluto completes a full revolution, it is very significant in astrology. So at the time the United States independence, July 4th, 1776, Pluto was in a specific location. It is in Capricorn. So when Pluto returns to that specific degree in the sign of Capricorn, that's considered a Pluto return. It's considered a time of epic change and transformation. And that's the United States in experience is Pluto return. In the tropical zodiac does not always align with astronomy. But in the tropical zodiac, the United States Pluto return was February 22nd, 2022, which is Yankee President Randy Levine's birthday, and it's George Washington's birthday, February 22nd, 2022. Now, it was Randy Levine's 67th birthday specifically in 2022 at the U.S. Pluto return. 67 is significant because George Washington died at age 67. He lived to age 67. So here's Randy Levine's 67th birthday at the time of the Pluto return, the same date of February 22nd. And Washington, D.C. is one of the Jesuit / Illuminati capitals of the world, as is New York City. And 9/11 brings the two of them together. They were both targets for New York City. And the George Washington Bridge just happens to be 119 feet in width. And it is 119 is significant for the next baseball season. For the next World Series, it will be the 119th World Series. So I'm sure, and not necessarily in this way, but you know how it is, 119 will somehow play into it. But it was just a thought, just throwing this out there. And just a knee-jerk, who knows, the Nationals versus the Yankees, maybe. I mean, if that were to be the World Series, the ritual would be obvious. I'm just I'll feel a little too obvious, but just throwing it out there. The George Washington Bridge was part of another 9/11 ritual. This is in 2013. It's the so-called Fort Lee Lane closure scandal. That's in Fort Lee. Fort Lee, New Jersey is the town on the western end of the George Washington Bridge. And in 2013, the then New Jersey governor, Chris Christie, closed 2 out of 3 toll lanes on the George Washington Bridge and caused massive gridlock and backup in the town of Fort Lee, New Jersey. He did it as a political reprisal, I think against the mayor of Fort Lee. But it was called a Bridgegate. It was a major scandal. And it occurred during 9/11. The lane closings started on September 9th and went on through September 13th. So September 11th was a big part of that ritual. And bridge symbolism, that's another esoteric level. Clearly, the bridge is part of it. And I mentioned 67. This is a major number in esoteric and specifically to Catholicism and Jesuitism. 67, and because it's the hangman, and Catholics and Jesuits, they venerate Saint Peter. Saint Peter has a unique cross. It's an upside down cross. That's the distinctly Saint Peter's cross, or also called the Petrine cross. And this is because Saint Peter was hung upside down. Well, the hangman tarot card is also suspended upside down. So you can see the similarity, the connection between the hangman of the tarot and Saint Peter's cross. And we know the significance of Saint Peter to the Jesuits and the Catholics. And hangman is a big number, 67 in Gematria, in hangman rituals. And again, Randy Levine, he has the same February 22nd birthday as George Washington, and turned 67 on his most recent birthday, which is the day of the Pluto return. And Washington Heights in New York City, it has several engine companies, firefighter stations, and one of them is Engine Company 67 in Washington Heights. That's on one end of the George Washington Bridge. On the other end of the George Washington Bridge is Fort Lee, New Jersey, and Fort Lee, New Jersey contains Route 67. Again, this is the George Washington, the bridge named after George Washington. On one end, you have Engine Company 67. On the other end, you have Route 67. George Washington lived to be 67. It was Randy Levine's 67th birthday. And this is the hangman. The hangman is St. Peter's cross. It's related to this. Also, the George Washington Bridge is a suspension bridge, and you can see how suspension ties into the hangman. The hangman is suspended upside down. I talk about the hangman with the Latrell Sprewell. When he's an NBA player in the past who choked his coach, PJ Carlissimo, who's graduated from Fordham, Jesuit Fordham, and his middle name is Peter, and he got choked, the hangman hanging, he got choked by Sprewell. Sprewell got the record suspension. Why do they say stressful suspension? Because the hangman is suspended. So, yeah, and so the word suspension has gematria of 119. So the suspension bridge with the 119 ritual in 2013. And the 201, again, needs no introduction, but someone not aware, it is a signature of the Jesuit order, specifically the very first openly Jesuit Pope, Francis. Usually popes will stay in the papal apartments, but he instead stayed in the Vatican, chose to live in the Vatican guest house in Suite 201. And Suite 201 is located in a building called Domus Sancti Martyr, which some say 201, the Jesuit order, some say 201. His name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is 201, as is the name of the founder of the Jesuit order, Ignatius of Loyola. Upside down cross. This is a big one, as in many people will talk about, but upside down cross, some say 201. That's very important because this ties in that symbol. It's a very important symbol. The St. Peter's cross, St. Peter was hung upside down, but it ties in the hangman. That's why you'll see a lot of hangman symbolism. Like PJ Carlissimo of Fordham grad, a head coach who went to Fordham being strangled by one of his players, being choked, like hanging, the choking. What a coincidence that happened to a Fordham grad who got choked. No, upside down cross, that's hanging, and that's the hangman is 201. It's very, very important. So this year is very significant. I don't think I mentioned that Randy Levine went to George Washington University. So not only is he born on George Washington's birthday, and this year, significant year, the year of the Pluto return, which is on his birthday, was his 67th birthday. Randy Levine also attended George Washington University in Washington, D.C. You know, all that. And George Washington University this year, last year, 2022, just turned 201 years old. So it was a very significant year for George Washington University, and by extension for Randy Levine and the New York Yankees. It's the 201st birthday of George Washington University this year. And their birthday, February 22nd, is the Feast of St. Peter's Chair in Catholicism. Like they don't, okay, this image came out blurry, but the feast.
Quick break, Rambo. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
And so I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. So you said you're alleging that you heard or that you witnessed ballots being put in the machine, run through, counted, and then put through it again?
That rollback is off-site over 100,000. That rollback, what did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it? Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0. These are just rescanning, counting votes 9 to 10 times. They were running these ballots through countless times. Wait, what about the turnout rate? 120%. There was illegal activity going on there.
What you said today is the truth.
I wrote a written affidavit.
What you said today is the truth.
Yes, it's 100% true. I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Did you? That rollback is off-site over 100,000. That rollback, what did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it? Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. They just found my resume and called me and said, do you want to work the election? These Democrats took every avenue possible to commit fraud in the selection.
Can you put a number to it?
Countless times, numerous times, 9 to 10 times, thousands of times, at least 30,000, over 100,000. What I saw was over 20 counts of fraud taking place in front of my face. And this has been counting, you know, the ballots that are found in rivers, the ballots found under rocks, the ballots, that rollback is off-site over 100,000. That rollback, what did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it? Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0.
What the fuck?
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Conditional range. Conditional range. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and Rambo got interrupted by the break, so let's get right back to him. For people who are saying his phone sounds muffled, it's not the best connection tonight, but I can make it all out, and I have just, like a laptop speaker, so I feel like if I can make it out, you should be able to make it out. And the visuals are also on the screen, so. All right, Rambo, there we go, you're back on.
Oh yeah, I'm calling. I'm in my car actually, and it's raining. It was raining pretty hard, so I don't know if that's part of it. Yeah, but this is not the phone I usually call in from. Even that connection isn't that great either. This is I'm in my car on my cell phone.
Okay. Well, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So the significance of February 22nd, because clearly you can see how significant this date is. George Washington, that's the birthday in the Gregorian calendar. And Randy Levine is a very central character, apparently, in the New York Yankees. February 22nd it's a big day for Catholics. It's the Feast of St. Peter's Chair, which, again, so this is not a feast venerating St. Peter, it's the chair. St. Peter is depicted by Catholics as sitting on a throne. And it's a very distinct kind of, he has like 1 foot forward. In fact, if you see the statue of St. Peter sitting on his throne at St. Peter's Basilica, the foot that he has forward, it's really smooth. It was very detailed with the toes and the sandals and all that. So many pilgrims over the years have kissed the foot of that statue that it's been worn thin. It's completely smooth. There are no more toes left. That's how often it's been touched and kissed. But the Feast of St. Peter's Chair, that's February 22nd. And again, they're celebrating the chair itself, which is kind of interesting. If you look at who St. It's a depiction of Jupiter. I talked about this before. Jupiter is the one depicted who Zeus, before Jupiter was Zeus, is in a throne the same way with 1 foot forward. And it's Peter, that's at the end of Jupiter, Peter. And that is who, it's on the occult level, St. Peter doesn't, to be honest, doesn't really make sense. They say he was crucified upside down in Rome. Why would St. Peter go all the way to Rome? Rome was persecuting, Christ and Christ's followers. So if you're a disciple of Christ, why would you go to Rome? So it's all symbolic. This has to do with Zeus, who's, if you go back to who that is, that's actually Enlil. Not to even get into that. That's actually who that is. And, but yeah, that's why February 22nd is also extra significant. And also the number 187, George Washington seems to 187. As to the New York Yankees, and I guess it's well known in this audience that Society of Jesus 187, Winter Solstice 187, because that's when the Yankees and Randy Levine announced Aaron Judge's historic captaincy and contract. So 187, that George Washington, again, tied in with the New York Yankees, and the Judges here at George Washington University in D.C. Same birthday as, which is significant to Catholics, St. Peter's Church. Yeah, so they all tied in together. And St. Peter's cross and the hangman also represent the mutable cross of the tropical zodiac, which is made up of Gemini, Sagittarius on one axis, Pisces, Virgo on the intersecting axis. So it is related to the zodiac as well. And February 22nd, which is George Washington's birthday, right? Levine's birthday, the Pluto returned, the Feast of St. Peter's Chair. It's in Pisces, which is part of the upside down cross, which is the mutable cross of the zodiac. Also, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's responsible for the Bridgegate scandal. Yeah, he's part of that. Yeah, there's so much more to this, especially the Bridgegate thing, the bridge closing scandal, very esoteric. The governor is a Virgo, which is part of St. Peter's cross. And just to throw in, since we're talking about bridges, a very important bridge symbolism, and the hangman suspension, the hangman is suspended, the suspension bridge. The most famous one is the Golden Gate Bridge. And in San Francisco, it was opened in Gemini. And which is part of the mutable cross. There's also one kind of more technical astrology. They have what's called, they call it, in the Vedic astrology, they call it Rahu and Ketu, the north node, south node, the head of the dragon, tail of the dragon. I know it's kind of technical astrology stuff, but when the Golden Gate Bridge was opened, Rahu, which is, north node, the head of the dragon, was in Gemini, and the tail of the dragon, Ketu, and I don't blame anyone if it's kind of over their heads, that's understandable. Ketu was in Sagittarius. So that's a very important axis of St. Peter's Cross. So this St. Peter's Cross is a very important part of the Golden Gate Bridge. And Golden Gate's considered the gate of God, the portal from the material world, out of the material world into the spiritual world. It's called the gateway of immortality. And that would be Sagittarius. And there's a large arrow called Cupid's arrow, which is a Sagittarius symbol in San Francisco, which indicates that. A little off topic, but since we're talking about suspension bridges. So that's the tie-in with George Washington, Jesuit Catholic symbolism, St. Peter's Cross, New York, and the Yankees.
Well, very interesting as always. Did you have any thoughts this week on the Lunar New Year and the reported mass shootings? Year of the Rabbit?
I've not looked into a lot of stories. Actually, what happened with me is on the anniversary of my starting my YouTube channel, because I started my YouTube channel January 19th, my first upload last year. So on my first anniversary, January 19th, my computer crashed. And I was going to upload a video, which was a part 2, which I spent a lot of time on. I literally spent a whole week, all day for a week, to put together a 40-minute video. I had finished. I was going to review it. And just a final review, and then upload it, and the computer crashed on the anniversary and everything was wiped out. It wiped everything out.
Really?
I almost wasn't able to do, I had a hard time. I was afraid I might not even be able to do this decode, because I had the login page bookmarked, and I forgot how to access the login page, but I was able to get that. I was almost afraid I wouldn't be able. But on January 19th, January 19th, 119, the anniversary, my computer just, it essentially just locked. It locked, and the only way to unlock it was to wipe everything out. And I was just about to upload. So people wonder why it's been so long since I was ready to upload. In fact, I think this time last week I said I was going to upload the part 2 to the Damar Hamlin. Again, that's a week, a full week. That's just dedicated to that. And not even working or anything. I sacrificed a lot, and for a 40-minute video. And before I could upload it, boom, it wiped out. So I had to have the computer up and working again, but everything's wiped out. It's completely empty now. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with. And also had to work, to keep the internet on. And I guess that week just went up in smoke. So so that's for that reason I haven't been looking at a lot of stories. Because that's kind of the situation.
Sure, that's frustrating. Well, I'm sorry that happened. On the bright side, though, even if you never made another video, you already have a wealth of awesome knowledge here. But I know what that's like to lose something you work hard on. So sorry.
But at least I don't know. So if people are wondering why I haven't uploaded, anything. And all the stories keep coming. So yeah, I guess I have to work, About near the end of the month, I dedicated that whole week just to making that video, and so now I can't spend a whole week dedicating the video because now I've got to earn money to keep the internet bill on so I can keep. So yeah, I'm kind of a little bit backed up as a result of this. But the analogy I make is like a phoenix. It emulates and then it comes. When a phoenix burns to ashes, it comes back at a higher level, stronger than it was. So I look at it that way. It's like the whole cycle symbol I've been talking about. Yeah. And the good news is I got a brand new computer. It's working awesome, really fast.
Okay, so you actually replaced the computer that crashed?
Well, yeah, not literally a new computer, but it's working faster because it was starting to kind of slow down a little glitchy, but yeah, I think the iMovie was really, really slow. I guess the bright side is, man, I had a bunch of stuff saved on iMovie, all my graphics and stuff. But yeah, I'll get back to that. But again, if anyone's wondering why it's been so long since I put up a video, yeah, that's why. It's funny, it happened on the anniversary on the 119.
Yeah, what an interesting day, especially since you're in New York, cold 119.
Yeah, it's also that just happened to be the day I started my channel. I just started my channel once. You know how long it was people are saying start a channel. I mean, it took me a while to learn tech and, even the simplest tech because I'm not good at tech. So that just happened to be the time when I finally got the handle of it, finally finished the video and uploaded. It just happened to be January 19th. I wasn't targeting that day. But I guess, I don't know, maybe there's a vibration to these numbers and stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative number. But yeah, that's what happened. I lost a lot of stuff, but that's why I haven't uploaded a video, just so people aren't wondering.
Yeah, life is stranger than fiction. Well, I'm glad it's operating, and no doubt in due time you'll have a ton more great content. And yeah, but that is bizarre. So, well, thanks for making the time again tonight, Rambo. I do appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me again.
All right, you have a good night, friend.
Okay.
All right,
take care.
Yeah, take care. All right, you guys, make sure you are subscribed to Rambo's channel. And again, he does do really great work if you've never checked out his channel. And with that said, let's go out to the next caller. And I'm trying to remember where that was in order. Our friend in New York, I know he's going to want me to come back after 11 East Coast time. Let's go out to Arizona. 623, you're on 623.
Hey, brother Zach, it's a pleasure being on your show.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Absolutely, man. Hey, big fan. I've been watching since you were on that whiteboard doing your thing. But anyway, I got some interesting information for you tonight.
Yeah.
First off, shout out to all the haters that don't understand because they grew up in artificial baby formula and their brain is underdeveloped.
Right.
Anyway, I got some interesting real-life confirmation that the NBA is operating in this numerical code. So, there's this NBA player right now named DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton has a cousin who created a high-end clothing brand and sells it within the valley. So I was out at this clothing boutique recently, and I was going through all the high-end sweatshirts, and I came across his cousin's brand. And on that hoodie, Zach, it says a very interesting thing. It says, "What would you do if you knew a number could kill you?" And there's multiple numbers across the chest, and there's a skull on the front of it. And I knew exactly what that meant, I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, they're putting it right in front of our fucking face. This is crazy. So I just wanted to share that with you and give you a little bit of confirmation for your wonderful work, and I appreciate your time, brother. Have a great night.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's go out to Florida, 850.
Hey, Zach. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I appreciate the shout out the other day on your channel. Definitely much appreciated. So I just wanted to thank you, man.
Sure. And again, if you do need anything, you know who to call. I've been waiting for you to request directly. I'm here. So.
I appreciate all the subscribers. They helped donate a little bit. I got my car out now, so of impound. Luckily, the guy, I talked him down to a little bit less than he asked. But I mean, I'm out and I'm moving around, and I'm at the gym right now, man. I just wanted to call in and thank you. As for news, I just read an article that Moderna and Pfizer came out with a cancer mRNA vaccine, and the tumor rate of the vaccine kills the tumor. It's 44% effective.
Oh yeah.
So I just thought
Of course it is.
So I saw that was kind of funny. Did you ever measure the day from Uvalde shooting to the lunar shooting? How many days that is?
Uvalde was the 144th day of the year, so what's that? 221 days remaining, plus another 21 days, so it must have been 242 days later. Or a span of 243, which is the old CIA number. So.
I noticed that there was some 243 in one of the news articles with the lunar shooting. I don't know if you mentioned anything. I don't remember specifically what it is, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention if you didn't know.
That's good. And 243 and 117 are the big CIA numbers. And at first they said 11 dead in the one lunar shooting, and then in Half Moon Base 7, and that shooter's name was 117. So, yeah, that's probably what they're coding, the little CIA fingerprint.
Other than that, I hope everyone's New Year's good, and I hope everyone's getting into the gym or has a gym, and hopefully, Zach, you're getting 15, 20 pull-ups done a day.
Well, I'm sad to say that I tried to install the pull-up bar here, and the door frames are weak, so I ruined a couple door frames, which I need to repair. And
oh man!
So I don't have a pull-up bar in the house right now, so I might need to just go get a gym membership. But
are you near one? You're in like a gated community. Do they have like a gym in there?
No, I'm not in a gated community anymore. That was the old retirement home I lived in, but now I moved. So there's a gym not far away. I've been actually meaning to go over there and sign up. It's just I wake up in the morning and I find my ass parked in this chair all day decoding. But yeah, I probably should take a break and go to the gym. So
maybe we can do a gym stream, man.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyway, you guys have a good night, and nice talking to you, brother.
All right, man. Stay strong. Glad things are getting better for you.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, take care. That's Truth Vibration Podcast, you guys. And he's eclipsed 500 subs. If you guys are in the chat and are not subscribed, he's a man who went out on September 11th to Tyndall Air Force Base to educate about how that base was open the day Pearl Harbor Day happened and how they happened to be where the location of the Operation Amalgam Virgo, essentially the 9/11 attack simulation, took place. And, of course, they called that the new Pearl Harbor. And ever since he went and did that, he's had some interference from the authorities. And he recently found himself doing 60 days in jail, which cost him his job and the garden and the chickens and everything he had going in his life. You know, he's trying to build a sustainable community, and it kind of sabotaged everything. So, you know what? He's back. He's building it back, and I know something that has been stressful for him even before all that happened was he just wished more people would tune into his podcast. He's trying to teach nutrition, knowledge, and again, there are people in this community who could give him a sub, give him a like, and I know that would boost his morale and keep him on the path he's on. So he's a tough guy, though. I imagine he'll stay on that path anyway, but a nice little sub, I'm sure it would make his day. So let's go out to, wait a minute. I lost track. Is this Truth Vibration Podcast, or is this another Florida caller?
This is a Truth Vibration.
All right, my bad.
Oh, Zach, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I just found this out with Tyndall Air Force. The officer's badge number was 74, and that was 74 days before my birthday.
Weird. How weird.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, very strange.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad you're out.
Man. Thank you.
Yeah, he might make an award-winning sitcom out of his days in jail. He's got some stories to tell. Let's go out to Las Vegas, 702. (702)
Hello?
Hello?
You hear me?
I hear you.
Man, first of all, man, I just started looking at your show probably like a month or two. And man, you flat on with the Gematria stuff, man. And man, good work, man. That's good work.
Thank you.
And with the Gematria and what I get, like and how I break it down, and I break down the numbers, and it all adds up to 666. Everything that they're doing, it all adds up to 666.
Okay. Tell me about your methods.
So they say, like yesterday, these 39 shootings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they say it was 3 shootings yesterday. So and it was on the 24th. So with the 24, I add the 24, I add that up. So 4 and 2 is 6. And then when I go with the 39 shootings, I add up the 9, and that the 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 12. 6 and 6 is 12. So it all adds up to 666. All of this stuff. When I read it, like when I watch all these shootings, mass shootings, or I watch anything on the news, that's like it's weird just watching it. And color coding, they go by color codes and all types of stuff. And it's all demonic stuff, my man. But you do good work though. You do real good work. I understand what you're saying when you break down the different dates and how far it is from different events and stuff. You do real good work, my man.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, friend. Well, call us back.
Yeah,
you got more? Go ahead. You got more? Go ahead.
I mean, that's basically, what I just really wanted to say, man. I just know a lot of this stuff, man. It's pretty demonic. Like all of this stuff is demonic, man. And what they do is they throw spells, man. Like they throw spells across the America. That's what it's all about. Like with these rituals.
Mm-hmm.
With these rituals, my guy, they just throw spells on people. To keep them asleep, to keep them dumb. That's how come, like when you come with your work, they don't understand it. And it's so simple. From A from all the way to Z, with the numbers, it's so simple. But they won't get it is because they're asleep.
Indeed. For the record, you guys, witchcraft is one of those words that has 666 Sumerian gematria. Spells and spelling.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But good work, Zachary, man.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you. You have a good night.
You too, my man.
All right, take care. All right, let's go out to a longtime veteran caller who came out and pounded pavement with us on 9/11. What's up, New York?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Okay. And I've been listening every week, man. But sometimes you miss me. You know, not too much people.
Well, I'm definitely not missing you tonight. Any good news from New York?
Same old, you know what I'm saying? I still need to get the first book and the second book. I want to take it to the station, you know what I'm saying? I want you to sign it. Yeah. You know?
Okay. When I come back to New York, I'm just going to bring them straight to you. I'll just bring you copies next time I come there.
Yeah, the first book and the second book. I want to take it to the station and make the guy with the program director. And then...
Oh, we got the commercial break. Sit tight, everybody.
When you hear the word attack, the word attack is not you don't feel low, you don't feel high. It's a cut. It's attack. Yeah. Attack means you got a target. Attack. You go into destroy. You go into to handle whatever it is you need to handle. So for me, I'm attacking every part of what affects a child's life. So the leaders that are in the school, if they're not exhibiting the right qualities that they need to exhibit, I'm attacking them. I'm challenging them. If the leaders in the home are not exhibiting the qualities and needs they need to exhibit to help nurture this child, I'm attacking them. I'm attacking them in the way I'm helping them, but I'm attacking them. I'm there to help you out. That's my mission. I'm ready to attack this problem that you're facing. Let me help you out. And then I'm attacking the students as well. I'm attacking their ability or lack of ability to challenge.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? Life is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ialife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. And just if you ever wondered, whenever that music comes back, that is no tribute to Rush Limbaugh. I could never stand that guy, but I know he used that song for his show as well. Anyhow. For the friend in New York, when I come back, I'll bring you the books. And by then, I'll have the third book as well. So we'll get it all squared away. Let's go out to 562. 562, you're wrong. (562). Let's just be listening tonight. Let's go out to 980. 980, you're wrong.
Zach, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. Hey, just a quick one. I ain't gonna be on here long. What Rambo was saying something about that February 22nd. You know, it's so odd too. You know, snowfall come back that day. That's the day snowfall come back for the new season. And you know that guy's name is Franklin State.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, now just throw that in. I didn't know if it was relevant or not, but that's where I came in at when I started listening. Hey, but I wanted to tell you, I wanted to ask you what just your opinion or something, and then you can get actually I can get off. You can just say your opinion and while you get ready to move on to the next one. Have you noticed that QAnon starting to play with talk about these numbers like that now, like the Gematria numbers?
Well, they've been doing it the whole time, right? But yeah, they kind of make it silly. So.
Yeah, definitely. Not as thorough, but definitely focusing on it. I noticed they've been talking about it a lot on all kinds of different platforms.
Yeah, there's a Comedy Central sketch that's probably 2 or 3 years old now, making fun of QAnon. They have like a bunch of QAnon people on, and they ask them about their beliefs, and then one of the people they say, "Now, what is it about this Gematria thing?" And they kind of make fun of it. So.
Yeah, but I don't know how much fun they want to make of it when it proves itself all day. But
indeed.
That's it, brother. I was just really listening, man. But because it sounds better when I listen on my phone. So a lot of stuff I don't really want to talk. I just listen.
Well, I appreciate you're out there, and thanks for all that you've done for the community. For all the people who don't know, it sounds like you gave up the music thing, but this man helped get the knowledge out there.
I never give up. I never give up on music, Zach. I just don't use your platform to promote myself, man. I never stop messing with music.
Oh, well, you can promote yourself. I don't mind. He put out music 2 or 3 years back now to help get out the knowledge. So.
Yeah, it's on iTunes. They can always go get it. It's Snake Pisciano, Order Out of Chaos. But that's actually, to be honest with you, that's why you my homeboy now, man, because you changed my whole frame. Once I got on to that, it was easy for me to grasp because I always knew something was going on with numbers anyway. I've always been into numbers. So once you did that, it was just like, I took to it easily. I see games of numbers, man. If I was to see all the numbers I see and all the little rituals they play and tricks they play, man, your phone wouldn't stop ringing. They do it on almost every level you can imagine.
Right.
They never stop. It's almost to the point where anything mainstream is by the numbers. Quit thinking it's not. Nothing else. These people are actually sick. I don't know what's wrong with them. If they don't understand this part right here, then, like you say, man, that guy said it, though. It's a spell on the people. They spellbound. It's too easy of a concept to grasp, and it's just too consistent for it to be coincidental. It has to be done on purpose.
Indeed.
It's not enough coincidence. Numbers don't run like that.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's the reason they don't educate them anyway, man. They don't want them educated no way, because if you know anything about numbers, you know they run through infinity. So for them to keep repeating themselves, there has to be a pattern.
Exactly.
Man, that's just simple. There's no use to trying to overthink that. Okay, Zach, man, you go ahead and get the next caller, brother. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, good to talk to you too. You have a good night, friend. Thank you.
You too.
All right. 818, California.
Hello. Hi, Zach.
How you doing?
I was just calling to ask you if you had seen the pictures of the supposed killer for the Idaho murders of his apartment. Did you see what they showed of the apartment?
You mean the big G and the set of numbers that included 201?
The 201. And then did you notice what his last name is?
Remind me, his name has escaped my mind.
Okay, his name is Brian Koberger.
Right.
But remember, the Windsor family is the Saxon Coburg Goten. So he's Coburg-er.
I see.
So he had, literally his name is the Windsor family name.
I see. And again, the killing's on King Road and the news breaks on King Charles's birthday. Okay.
And then on top of that, you had his address was 1630, like Southeast Valley Road or something. So I'm like, what, 1630? That sounds like a significant English date. And that was actually the birth year of King Charles II.
Huh. Funny.
So there you have. I think there's something big going on with England this year. Behind the scenes, they're taking back their providences or their territories.
Sure. Yeah, you've had a lot of great observations with that whole story. You've done an excellent job. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, and keep going. You're doing a good job too. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Yeah, wish everyone felt that way. So, but you can't please everyone. Hey, George called back in, and if George called back in, he must have something important. What's up, George?
Hello, Zach.
Yeah, you called back, so I figured it must be important.
Oh, I'm sorry. It must have been a mistake, but since I have you, okay. You know how this whole, okay, I need to watch my language because of censorship. You know how we've had, since last Saturday, at least 4 Bang Bang events on the West Coast?
Sure.
I'll just put it that way.
Sure.
Okay, it started out at Monterey Park, California, which is a suburb of LA, as you mentioned. Now, I know this is a stretch, but there's an actual town in California called Monterey, a county. It's in the north central coast, for those who don't know. It's like maybe hour and a half south of San Francisco or thereabouts. So for what it, now, I don't recall the dates. I'm sorry, I was doing something else. Back in 1967, the summer of 1967, you had an event called the Monterey Pop Festival.
Okay.
Which featured Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, The Who, all the big names of the time. Now, for what it's worth, as I said, that was called the Monterey Pop Festival. In 1967, as you know, is the year when Gavin Newsom was born on October the 10th.
Right.
So do you think with having these locations, that's partially an homage to history?
It likely is, because the whole thing is synced up with him. Yeah, it's probably exactly what it was.
Okay, so I forgot the name of the gal who was just on before me, but she said she was talking about the Idaho killer and how he is probably royalty. He's like German or Saxon. He's a Coburger or something.
Right.
But Monterey in Spanish means the King's Mountain.
Huh.
And so I'm just thinking, but if you look up the town, Monterey Park, it only has a population of about 11,000 people, 11,000 and some change. So maybe there's some significance to that. I mean, do you wonder why they choose certain locations?
Well,
one spot.
Well, just on the surface, it's a Lunar New Year festival shooting, and what are just the first 3 letters in the name, right? M-O-N. It's not that far off from moon.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed. And then, of course, a day or two later, you had the Half Moon Bay,
right?
Alleged shooting,
right?
And of course, I mean, are they trying to? You remember back, was it in 2000, when this whole nonsense started with the cerveza beer thing? I'll just leave it at that. Various people were engaging in very anti-Asian bigotry.
Right.
You know, Donald Trump called it the China virus and things like that. So why is it they're trying to foment anti-Asian sentiment, specifically anti-Chinese?
Since you brought that up, something I was thinking about it is the big news story right before the Monterey Park shooting was the Atlanta riots with the Antifa protesters, and really, it sparked off in Atlanta, right? When supposedly the guy went from Asian massage parlor to Asian massage parlor targeting Asians. And back then, we showed how that was synced up with the Masters, which is in Georgia. And sure enough, the Asian golfer became the first to win the event right after that. So I just thought it was interesting how it went from Atlanta to a Chinese Lunar New Year festival shooting blamed on an older Asian man. But yeah, again, all these things that they do, that they are rituals and tributes to the past, to history, to the next piece of the puzzle to come. And I always try to interpret as much as I can understand, but again, there's probably something about coast to coast as well, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Atlanta and Los Angeles both sprawling into the 33rd parallel. The word lunar itself has gematria of 21 when you run it forwards, 33 when you run it in reverse. Both things on the 21st, close to the 33rd parallel. But yeah, those are the thoughts I have for right now.
Okay, so I noticed that whenever, this is my policy. Whenever you have an event with at least 10 casualties, I'm 99% certain it's a bogus incident. I'll call it that. If you have at least 10 deaths, sorry about my dog. If you have at least 10 deaths, I'm 99.9% certain it's one of those artificial events.
Yeah.
So, as I said, when I spoke to you earlier, the chief of police for Yakima, Matt Murray, got his undergrad degree from Regis, and as we've established, that's a Jesuit school.
Yeah.
So, when you have these events, you have to have the right puppets in place, sheriff, police chief, and so forth. So, not everybody, I'd imagine most of the people in the Yakima Police Department are not read in.
No.
They're just simply cogs doing their job.
Exactly.
They only need to control.
Exactly.
I'm sorry?
Exactly. I mean, you could just see it. Both years in a row. When I go to the one at the Fred Meyer, the last year's shooting in Pasco, Washington, not far from here. This year in Yakima, you can see the same thing. They're just guys doing their job, standing around, following orders. They don't know what's going on. It's the people at the top that are orchestrating the rituals, and everybody else is just doing what they're told. It's just like rank. Somebody up here, way up here, knows what's going on. The next people down are just following orders. So,
okay, and if I can just mention one other thing. Generally speaking, when you look at these events, look at the background of whoever's in charge, the sheriff, the police chief, or whatever, the commissioner, and look at where he went to school. Now, granted, it was fairly obvious with Murray because, as I said, he went to a Jesuit school. But sometimes they'll go to a mainstream state college or something like that. So it's hard. However, oftentimes they'll get additional training at the FBI Academy. I don't know how many times I've come across that. That should be a red flag. Why, if you're just going to be a police chief in Podunk, USA, why do you need to go to the FBI Academy?
Truly. All right, George. Lots of great points, and do appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Let's go out to Binghamton. That dog was giving me PTSD from yesterday. What's going on, Binghamton?
Yeah, those dogs are giving me a headache, man. But you know the movie Pearl Harbor that released in 2001?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, a span of 110 days from 9/11 when the 110-story towers came down. So.
No, it was a span of 114 days. So, you might be going from the release date in the United States mainland.
Yeah.
The movie released on May 21st, 2001 in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and Pearl Harbor equals 114.
Yes, it does.
And the movie released in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, 114 days before 9/11.
Okay, that's a good one.
And it also released in Hawaii a span of 201 days from the 60th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and Pearl Harbor also equals 60.
Good one, yeah.
And in reverse it equals 183, and the movie's 183 minutes. So, yeah, and in the last in reverse reduction it equals 66, And number of the beast is 66. And there's a clear 87 that I'm forgetting. But Peyton Manning, he played for Indianapolis, 201.
Right.
And he threw for 319 regular season touchdowns as a Colt and threw 198 interceptions regular season as a Colt, which is a difference of 201.
Huh. Good one.
And just in regards to Paddock, because it reminds me of Stephen Paddock from Las Vegas.
Sure.
And I didn't know if you had his birthday numerology, Paddock's birthday numerology, the Las Vegas one, is 85. And just like Jesus Hominum Salvator is 85. And also Jesus Hominum Salvator is 274, like it happened on the 274th day of the year.
Huh. Yeah, good one.
And yeah, and it was also from Paddock's birthday. It was 190 days, or a span of 191, to his upcoming birthday. And Society of Jesus is 191. So it's just everything you like, every event that I can like think of and stuff. Like sometimes I'll just randomly remember an event, and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna apply the numbers like the nows to this, and sure enough, it just lines up perfectly. So, all right, Zach, that's all I got.
All right. Great thoughts as always. Thank you.
All right, peace.
Yeah, have a good one. All right. The world's biggest Eagles fan. What's up?
What's up, Zach?
How you doing, man?
You
got your playoff matchup, 49ers Eagles. Your team versus your city.
Yeah. And I ain't too happy about it either.
Yeah.
I'm not too happy about it.
Yeah. What do your instincts tell you? Is Brock Purdy number 13? Is he going to get the 49ers their 13th straight win?
It's a possibility. I keep looking at it from a perspective of, how good well, I'm not saying he's not good, but, I'm just looking at, okay, well, he's a 262nd pick and, all these different things. Normally that doesn't happen with a Mr. Irrelevant pick. Doesn't mean that he's not as good, but I'm looking at it from that perspective and not the gematria of it. And that's where I keep flipping up at.
Sure.
So, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, well, do they really want this to happen with a Mr. Irrelevant pick? But then it happened with undrafted free agents. So, well, not free agents, undrafted players. So,
Remember, he's drafted in the 7th round, just like Tom Brady drafted in the 7th round. The name, for people who don't know, the name Brock Purdy in Gematria equals 133. So does football. And his first career start was against Brady. It was the 49ers at home versus Tampa Bay. And the 49ers won that game, improving to 13-3 at home all-time versus Tampa Bay, like 133. And interestingly enough, Brock Purdy rushed in the 13th points of the game. And again, picked up the 13th win. What I noticed after that game was he had a 134 passer rating for the game. And I said, look at that. If he wins all the games for the 49ers to close out the year, they'll be 13-4. And not only did he do that, he finished the regular season with 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions for another 134. And if you write out Vesica Pisces, which is the shape of the football in sacred geometry, it's also 134. But if he can win one more game, he'll have the 49ers at 13 straight wins. So we'll see.
And he wears number 13, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's wearing number 13.
Yeah. I wasn't looking at any of that. I didn't realize that he started his first game against Tom Brady.
He did.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Glad for you pointing that out. It was something else I wanted to bring up about that. There was something about him. Oh, did you see the skit? Well, actually, he did 2 skits now. Paul Heyman about Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a video that's saying that he was the next big thing, and then wrestling was in Philadelphia on Monday. And, he taunted the fans and said, that he was the next big thing. Brock Purdy, like he announces Brock Lesnar. So, if you can look that up, I think you might find that interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, those are some good observations. And the WWE cut a big promo for Brock Purdy. If you go look at it, it's 57 seconds long. So.
Yeah. So maybe it's something behind all of this Brock Purdy thing.
Yeah, I think there is. I think there is. Again, he's 23 years old. Super Bowl 23 was the 49ers over the Bengals. Last week, it was the anniversary of Super Bowl 23, and the 49ers and Bengals both advanced. In the 49ers game, Dak Prescott got his 23rd career road loss, and in the Bengals-Buffalo game, it was the 2 seed versus the 3 seed. Kind of like how the 49ers are the 2 seed in the West, and the Bengals are the 3 seed in the AFC. Or Niners are 2 seed in the NFC. Bengals are 3 seed in the AFC. Yeah, because when the playoffs first started, before any games were played, I pointed that out. That was the thing we had on Patreon. I said, man, could they do a rematch of Super Bowl 23? They almost did it last year. And last year, the Niners and Bengals both advanced in the playoffs in the anniversary of Super Bowl 23. So the same thing 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the situation. This of course, this Eagle stuff is driving me nuts here. And they're extra arrogant and cocky. So the fans are. So, it's special here. That's all I'm going to say.
I've seen the Eagles fans in action at the 49ers Stadium. I'll never forget the date of the game. It was 10/10/2010. And I never seen so many arrests or brutality, men and women just killing each other in the stadium, fighting over the game. So.
Was that, because I know Eagles fans, we have I think we have a jail cell in Lincoln Financial Field, from what I heard.
Yeah, you do. So.
Yeah. Before I lose, I want to just 2 videos I want to see. Excuse me, I'm a little tired from work, so I'm a little dragging a little bit. But 2 videos. If you can go to YouTube and look up, it's a video. Let me see. It's right here. How magnetics are used in football, and Jarvis Landry is doing somewhat of a demonstration with the gloves and the football.
Yeah.
And if you look up, the name of that person's channel
Lobo.
is Lobo. Right,
yeah. No,
right.
I'm aware of this video. I showed part of this video about a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay. Did you see the other one called How Is This Legal? How are these gloves legal in the NFL?
I don't know if I've seen that one. How is this legal? Gloves, NFL. Let's see.
Yes.
How are these gloves legal in the NFL? I don't know if I've seen that one. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that's going to be the video where they're going to get deep in depth of how they're actually showing you how they make the footballs and put the chip in, and then with the transmitter and how you turn on the transmitter and how it works and everything. And they're going to show like different plays in the NFL and how they was able to do these one-handed catches. I was always wondering if it was something up with Odell Beckham Jr.'s catches.
Sure.
When he first came to the league. And this shows it right here. But I think you'll get a kick out of that video.
Okay. I'll check it out. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And if you can, like, one day maybe look into Philadelphia, if you look at City Hall, on that building in City Hall, there's a lot of gargoyles statues that are around the actual building. It's a lot of things here that I think that you will find interesting, you know, to where, you know, you may want to look into that and see, like, you know, how there's any connection. Maybe Gematria can connect with some of the things here in Philly, but it's a lot of dark things here, and I think that's one of the reasons why they shot the movie Fallen here.
Yeah, that's probably exactly correct. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got, you know.
Well, your timing's perfect because the commercial's about to kick in any second, so appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for bringing me on, and I'm going to look forward to see what your picks are.
All right, friend. You get some rest, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate you too. Yeah.
The Niners fan in Philly. We'll be right back, everybody. It's not the end.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Why not visit the border? Why not see what Americans are seeing?
I think that at some point she may go to the border. We'll see, but we'll circle back.
You have a message for would-be migrants. Don't come.
Do not come.
Put it in reverse.
Do not come. She may go to the border. I will have to circle back on that one. Do not come. Do not come. I expect at some time she may go to the border. We'll circle back.
You have to understand that there's a reason people are arriving at our border.
So how quickly does this change what we see at the border?
I don't know. I don't understand the point that you're making. There's not going to be a quick fix. I've been very clear from the beginning.
What her focus has been, what the assignment is to work with leaders. She's doing exactly what the president asked her to do.
It is insulting. It is embarrassing.
You have a message for would-be migrants. Don't come.
Do not come.
Put it in reverse.
Do not come. She may go to the border. I will have to circle back on that one. Do not come. Do not come. I expect at some time she may go to the border. We'll circle back.
The reason that I'm in Guatemala is to address the reasons people leave home, flee. They want to stay. They want to leave. We are going to the border. We've been to the border. This whole thing about the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
What her focus has been, what the assignment is to work with leaders. She's doing exactly what the president asked her to do.
It is insulting. It is embarrassing.
You have a message for would-be migrants. Don't come.
Do not come.
Put it in reverse.
Do not come. She may go to the border. I will have to circle back on that one. Do not come. Do not come. I expect at some time she may go to the border. We'll circle back.
I know what you tell the people that live at the southern border. I guess they better arm up and get guns and be ready. Maybe they're going to have to start taking matters into their own hands. It is bad all around.
Don't come.
Do not come.
Put it in reverse.
Do not come. She may go to the border. I will have to circle back on that one. Do not come. Do not come. I expect at some time.
You must unite what has been citizen.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Itachi's making me laugh in the chat. He's got no patience with the trolls. Hey, by the way, congrats to everybody who won on the Timberwolves tonight. They had some great value and a great riddle. Again, that Gematria, the knowledge pays. Let's go out to 559. What's up, 559?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, what's going on?
You hear me, right? Okay, I just have some different information about weather warfare and about the flood that hit San Francisco on January 4th. So I started last year researching like the 49ers. They obviously have a 5-2 Super Bowl record, but they also have 239 exact points in those 7 games, obviously the 52nd prime number. And I saw that last year, and I was predicting in August that a flood would hit San Francisco, but it came this year synced up with the same people and the same album I was talking about. So there's this show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's this episode called The Storm of the Century, and it released on October 20th, Kamala Harris's birthday, and it came out in 2011, so this is old, but it came out season 7, episode 6, like 76, San Francisco equals 76, Skull and Bones 76, and this year when the storm hit, January 4th, it came exactly 76 days after Kamala's birthday. And the thing about Kamala's birthday also is that the movie Geostorm came out on her birthday in 2017, and yeah, so there's a musical album that was put out by the rapper Logic. His birthday is January 22nd, but he's from Baltimore. But obviously he has the 122 connection, and he put out a song called Orville. If you want to look that up, put it on the screen. The song is called Orville, and it runs exactly 3 minutes and 22 seconds, and it was released on the Golden Gate Bridge's birthday. And the picture of the song, it shows him standing in front of an erupting volcano. And this was the same year that San Francisco got a tsunami warning or an advisory because of an underwater volcano eruption. And it shows him standing in front of a picture of an erupting volcano with a COVID mask on. So I saw that connection, and that album was that song. It was a single. It was connected to the album Final Days. It's kind of a play on the word Final Days. And it released, well, the storm hit exactly 201 days after the album came out. And to conclude 2022, last year, 2 blockbuster movies came out. The first being Avatar, The Way of Water, like water flooding. It came out 122 days after the director's birthday, James Cameron. And the other blockbuster movie was the Black Panther film that came out 172 days after that director's birthday. And of course, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down equals 172, and it was connected with the death of Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther. And so I'm just trying to make the connection between the grid going down and possibly the storm of the century hitting San Francisco. Yeah, again, like the Black Panther Party was created in the Bay Area. The thing about the Super Bowl being obviously the 103rd NFL season, Francis of Assisi equals 103, and he died on October 3rd in history. And the Public Enemy has the song By the Time I Get to Arizona, and the Super Bowl's in Arizona, so I have a feeling that the 49ers are going to be in that Super Bowl. But by the time they're playing the game, San Francisco's pretty much going to be hit by they're calling it an ark storm, like based on Noah's Ark. And there's this film called Evan Almighty, and it's about Noah's Ark. It's a terrible comedic movie, but it's about Noah's Ark, and it stars Steve Carell, and in Gematria, Steve Carell equals 122. So I'm just trying to put all the pieces together for you guys to like kind of notice what's going on. So again, the 49ers have that 52 connection. But yeah, I mean, so like, what do you think so far?
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job. If the 49ers did make it to the Super Bowl and perhaps won, might want to watch out for 9 days after the Niners, because that would be the 52nd day of the year, and we see a lot of weather warfare related things in connection to the number 52. Again, for people who are new here, the first act of weather warfare was admitted to August 15th, 1952, on the Jesuit order's birthday, and words like flood and hurricane, they have that Gematria 52, as does California.
Yeah, indeed. To add on to that, Brock Purdy equals 52. So
yeah,
I have a feeling this guy's in the right place. Obviously, you mentioned the Patriots following the Patriot Act. So I have a feeling the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl, but at the same time, their city's going to be destroyed, you know? And they are. I feel like they're definitely planning something over there. But also, I wanted to make the point. It's escaping my mind right now, but again, like the storm of the century type stuff and the weather warfare. Right. The point that I wanted to make was that February 11th has all these numbers connected to Kamala Harris. She has a 322 connection with that date. It's 3 months and 22 days after her birthday, 47 days before Klaus Schwab, and it's the date 211, the 47th prime number. And so yeah, again, the album Vinyl Days by the rapper Logic. He's born January 22nd. Again, the storm hit 201 days after the album came out. And the thing is about February 11th is that it's exactly 38 days after January 4th, which becomes a total of 201 plus 38 is 239, again, the 52nd prime number. So I'm just trying to make a point out there to look out for February 11th for a possible arc storm scenario. It's a storm where a series of storms hit day after day after day, just like flooding up the whole California, just flooding up Sacramento, hitting Bay Area the most. I feel like that's what they're planning. And yeah, I'm out here in Fresno, California. I don't know if you ever heard of that. I'm from a small town called Reedley. I mean, it's incredibly small. It's a small little Mexican town. But I mean, I'm fearful about what's coming, you know, about how much water they're actually going to be pouring on us. And I'm just trying to reach a larger audience. Obviously, you have, I mean, one of the best audiences. So I just want to make that point out. I don't know if I could just shout out my Twitter handle or anything.
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, well, because I have 0 followers, 0 following, again, last year I created a Twitter account just to warn people in San Francisco, and people were just, you know, mocking, you know, posting memes of me wearing, not me, but just like gifs of people wearing tinfoil hats, you know, thinking I'm talking about biblical prophecy, about a huge tidal wave hitting San Francisco. It's just going to be one storm after another. And the reason they call it arc storm is because it stands for Atmospheric River 1000 storm. And obviously they're just referencing the Noah's Ark situation. And so my Twitter is FretMuch1. Just fret much, like the word fret much 1, the number 1. And it's pinned on my Twitter, so hopefully some people can see it and warn about what could possibly be hitting San Francisco. Because again, I saw this last August, and then, you know, it hit this year. And, you know, the album that I was linking it to was called Vinyl Days, like Final Days. And The Storm of the Century was the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that was synced up with Kamala Harris. And the storm was synced up with Kamala Harris's birthday. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, obviously. But I just hope people could reach the Twitter account and be able to recognize the number rituals that are going on in the sports, especially now with Brock Purdy, which equals 52.
Sure,
But,
sure.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, here's my feedback. I think you're doing a great job with the decoding. But, I mean, to wipe out an entire city, I mean, that could happen sometime in our lifetime. But it's just like, think about 9/11. Like, 9/11's the biggest ritual they've ever pulled off, and they took down massive buildings, but they didn't take out all of New York City. And it's not to say in the future they couldn't do something as devastating as that with population control, but I just say try not to live in fear. And, you know, just put out the knowledge, and rather than, like, say they might take out the whole city, just say, like, hey, look out, because they might have an event planned for San Francisco. And again, for people that's how, don't feel bad about the tinfoil hat comments, because it's the same thing on my Twitter. I mean, it's just internet's full of trolls, but the people who are meant to find your work, they will. And I just followed you, so you got one follower. So.
Okay. Also, the fact that Twitter. I mean, it's just full of like you don't know who's real, who's not. The profile pictures could be completely fake, and then sometimes you go through the followers, just full of bots. Thousands of followers.
That's what I feel like it is. I feel like nobody gets a notification except for the bots, because the trolls are always the first thing to post on almost all of my Twitter posts. It's so annoying.
Okay, and you're right, man. I shouldn't live in fear, and I'll just try to keep the knowledge precise and not try to, throw the fear into people's faces. But again, I am just trying to warn, because last year I was on top of it in August, and then when the day I was predicting came and went, I obviously felt like, okay, well, this not, because my sisters were making a point, like, that if you can't use this knowledge to predict the future, then what good is this knowledge? And once that past came and went, I just pretty much quit. And then now I just feel like I'm late to the punch, you know what I mean?
No, just stay on it. You're doing a good job. You had a lot of great observations about what happened there with Kamala and the flooding, so keep it up. And for other people, and also that's another thing. I mean, I've already nailed a bunch of predictions, so we've proven that the knowledge, and other people have nailed predictions too. Rambo predicted that Rihanna would be doing the Super Bowl halftime show way before that was announced. I mean, a lot of people have made predictions. But again, even if we couldn't make any predictions, that whole argument that then there'd be no worth is false, because by having the knowledge, it allows you to identify the trail of who's doing these rituals and where it leads back to. So, it's just a lot of people with false opinions who don't matter. But I could hear from what you just presented about that flooding and Kamala and the film. That's exactly how they do it. So those were all things I didn't catch. So keep it up. You're doing a good job.
The reason I thought is because I'm a big fan. I used to be a big fan of, obviously, NFL and the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is like a super Catholic show. In an episode, they referenced the number 46 very blatantly. And also the rapper Logic, I used to listen to all of them. So, well, yeah, I'll just keep it up, obviously, and try to get the right date.
Okay. Well, just keep at it. Don't get discouraged.
Okay.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, let's go out to Ohio, 440.
Hello? Hello, Zach?
Yes. I'm
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I just want to bring to your attention a scene in the Pet Goat 2 video.
Okay.
That basically is showing everything that is happening in China recently. Can you open up the video real quick?
Yeah. I just got to get through the ads real quick. I got some ads on it here. Looks like it's going to make me watch 2 ads. Mm-hmm. Are you going to want me to go to a certain timestamp in the video?
Yeah, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Are you aware of all the protests that were happening there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so in that scene, there's a guy with, he's holding a sickle and a hammer, and he's going down, he's drowning. So I think that's, symbolizing, because the CCP has a flag, and on the flag there's a sickle and a hammer. So I think that's symbolizing the CCP going down, which during the protest they were shouting down with the CCP, and they were calling for Xi Jinping to step down.
Okay. Unfortunately, the version I pulled up at 3:30, it's something different, so I don't know if this is an abbreviated version. How long is I Pet Goat 2 supposed to be?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'll watch it again, but we heard what you said, so I'll go back and look at it. But okay, was there more you wanted to add?
And then the scene after that, there is a girl, it's like a tank man scene, and the girl's waving a white flag. So during those protests in November, everybody was comparing it to the Tiananmen Square protest in 1989, which was 33 years ago. And during that same November time frame, the former president of China, he died at age 96.
Okay.
And that president of China, he came to power right after the 1989 Tiananmen Square protest.
Okay. Interesting.
So that video kind of correlates to whatever is happening. And then when in the video, there's a tiger on the girl's jacket on her back, and it was the year of the tiger during the winter time because there's snow falling and everything.
Right.
And then the skeleton, he puts his hand on the girl's back, and then there's like fireworks behind him. So that's kind of symbolizing the Chinese New Year that came recently.
Okay.
And skeletons are a universal symbol of death. And the narrative they're putting out right now is like the CCP is lying about the death toll in China at the moment, and it's more serious than they bring it out to be. So I'm thinking that they're going to come out with like a shocking death number or something. But yeah,
Sure.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's a lot of good observations. I haven't watched iPet Goat 2 for a long time, so I'll have to go back and take a look. But I do appreciate your analysis. Thank you.
Do you see the video though?
I do have the video up here. It's just the timestamps were off. So, and since it's been so long since I watched it, I'll have to go back and revisit it.
Okay. And there's one more scene that I wanted to bring to your attention.
Okay.
At 5 minutes, there's like the Antichrist or the Savior or something. He's like rising out of this army of people, and it kind of represents a terracotta army in China, which is like an old museum thing. It's basically like the army of the first emperor of China, and his name was Qin Shi Huang, and he was the first emperor of China, and basically he conquered all of China and united China under one ruler. So, like basically what they're trying to accomplish in the world right now is like unite the world under one world order. So that's kind of like symbolizing what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Indeed.
So I think whatever savior they're gonna try to put out into the world is gonna be connected to that. So, and that's it.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You have a good night. Okay. I should have done a better job searching through it because I think just right after 3:30, I think it's just like at 3:35. That's what she was talking about with the hammer. So, but yeah, if you guys have not seen iPet Goat 2, a lot of interesting symbolism. A lot of people have their theories and takes on the meaning. It's definitely interesting. Let's go out to 646.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Zach. This is New York City calling in. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. So I think I fell down a rabbit hole with regards to the shooting in California. I know you kept saying how, well, not you, but like the news keeps repeating grandpa. It was like a Asian Chinese grandpa who did the shooting, right?
Right.
So we're going to rewind back to 2021, the Tour de France. there was someone who caused a crash during the Tour de France. They held up a sign that said "Ale Opi Omi," and I had to look it up. Ale Opi Omi means "Let's go, Grandma." No, "Let's go, Grandpa and Grandma." Right?
Interesting.
So then, about like a year later, Joe Biden falls off his bike, out of nowhere. Like, it was so staged. Like, he was just riding, and he just happened to just fall down out of nowhere. So I think he might be Grandpa.
Okay.
So I just thought that was really weird. That the news kept saying that this Asian grandpa did all this killing, supposed killing in California. So I just thought I'd put that out there because I think there's a little code going on. Like, Joe Biden might be Grandpa in a way.
Sure. And the thing that I found interesting about him being 72 years old, the shooter, is that President Biden equals 72, and again, he became senator-elect in 72, and that's the year his wife and daughter died, and then when he was 72 years old, Beau Biden died at age 46. So I do think there's some kind of tribute to Joe in the story.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a connect there. And then another thing real quick, a commenter in the chat, Fadi Bachi, he mentioned there's some demonic statue that was just erected in New York City. Of course, it was at one of the Justice buildings in New York City, and if you just Google statue in the New York Times wrote this article. It says, "Move over Moses and Zoroaster. Manhattan has a new female lawgiver," and I'm looking at this statue now. It looks completely demonic. It just wandered off the set of Hellraiser. She kind of looks like a character in a video game that's coming out on 6/6 this year called Diablo 4. And the way her hair is styled looks like horns. And she's emerging from a pink lotus flower. I'm just going by the description in the New York Times. And she has no arms. Her arms look like tentacles. And I just don't know what demonic energies New York City is trying to summon with this statue, because I think the other stone statues at the courthouse includes Justinian, Manu, Louis IX, Confucius, Moses, and this statue just looks so out of place with all the other statues. I think it's trying to be this feminist symbol, but it just looks completely demonic. Just like the new MLK statue in Boston, it's called the Embrace. And it's supposed to commemorate a famous photo of MLK and Coretta Scott King. But the weird thing about that statue is it doesn't have their heads or anything. It just looks like a dismembered, crazy statue. So I'm looking at all these statues that are coming up. You have this statue that looks like Lilith from Diablo 4. In New York City. And then you have that crazy MLK statue in Boston. So I don't know what's going on with Boston. There's a lot of stuff going on with Boston. Even the new show, The Last of Us, it takes place, the first part of it takes place in Boston. So I don't know what's going on, but these are some observations I made. So I'm going to stop right there for tonight. And those are my observations.
All right, yeah, interesting thoughts. And yeah, that statue is bizarre. And Shark's in the chat, he's like, yeah, there's all kinds of demonic statues all over New York City. So, remember, New York's got that Sumerian Gematria.
Know what they're trying to
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know what they're trying to summon with New York City. I peeped for a while that they're trying to somehow recreate a 9/11 event and for some reason it just doesn't go through. Like there's always these like fake sounding, like I think earlier last year there was some like fake weird explosion that sounded in Times Square, and people were just running like crazy. So they're definitely trying to recreate like a 9/11 type of event, but for some reason it just hasn't happened yet. And I hope it doesn't happen because I live in New York City. So I'm just putting it out there. Like, it seems like the two coasts, California and New York, they're just like on the radar esoterically to be destroyed for some reason. And I hope that doesn't happen. So
yeah, let's hope.
All right. Well, I appreciate everything you do.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. You have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. All right, we are coming up on a commercial break. We got 5 people on hold, 916-562-702-661-732. You're all up next. We'll be right back.
The big share of my life until I met Mr. Shope. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame pricing. I said, it costs too much. Shope said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I thought, wow, I never looked at it like that before. Shope said, sir, you must intellectually understand it's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in misjudging result. I found that the errors were within. But see, he had to go after me on that point.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon by Christine. Great for heart palpitation. My ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc. I love this product. It really works. By Brad. Works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right. I think I am like losing my memory because I'm like, where was I with the call board? Who was next? I think it might be 916. Let me check. 916. Is it your turn?
I'll take a turn.
All right. How you doing, 916?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
I'm watching that. I just glanced at this television show, and this guy's got to donate to the university. And they said he's a furniture man. And this is an old show. And then they said, how do you, because he's one of their richest donators. They asked him, how do you get so rich in furniture? He said, and he looked at this little kid. Sheldon is the kid's name. And he said, no, I use numerology.
Okay. Is it the Young Sheldon show? Young Sheldon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of it in a nutshell. But I wanted to talk a little bit about NASCAR.
Okay.
Okay. So they announced they're going to put Kyle Larson in the Indianapolis 500.
Okay.
But that's not going to be this year. That's going to be next year in the 2024. And they do shit with him like they announced it 500 days before that race.
Okay.
So what they're setting up, this kid, I really believe they're going to exalt him to the big poobah. And so if you look back, he won the championship after he came back from saying the N-word.
Oh, right. Okay.
Remember when he used the N-word?
Right, I remember.
Okay, so he used that N-word on the 103rd day of the year. And then which is going to play this year. And then a lot of things with Larson line up with he was born on the 212th or 213th day of the year because he was born in a leap year.
Okay.
So there's 212 all over him. Then he's a 201. Now, what I can tell you, and I want people to go, I'm just going to go over this real quick, maybe take me about 3 minutes, because I have this work posted on the Mighty Network. And so what they're doing this year, and I'm going to give you the narrative. They 23 years ago, the guy that they put in the NASCAR Hall of Fame won the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. And 23 years ago, the guy that won the Indianapolis 500 was the first time that he ever drove the Indianapolis 500. And he was Juan Pablo Montoya. Little clue on him, his birthday is 213 days from Larson's day. So they're going back 23 years to the Coca-Cola 600 and the Indy 500. They're both run on Labor Day weekend, the biggest weekend in racing. Now, Larson drives the number 5, and he's going to be the 5th driver ever to go and race both races in one day. It's just little shit they're doing on the side. And then they're bringing Jimmy Johnson back to NASCAR as an owner and a part-time driver. And he's going to be in the Daytona 500. So when we look at this Matt Kenseth, he took over for Kyle Larson. He's the guy they put in the Hall of Fame. When Larson got fired, Kenseth is the one that took over for Larson, and he ran some races. And then Larson went to Hendrick. So, and when you look at Juan Pablo Montoya, these are both the guys that won in the year 2000. Larson took over for Juan Pablo in the 42 car. So, and these are all these.
What happened? That is so weird. I'm not sure what just happened. It looks like we're still connected. But obviously it muted his call, whatever just happened. Huh. Let's see if the other calls are working after that. That's the noise that Skype makes when it's like a busy signal, but shouldn't have that. 347, can you hear me? He can't hear me. I can tell that he's talking, but I can't hear him. Hold on, you guys. I have to reconnect to the call board. I don't know what the problem is, though. It shows that everything's connected, but that sound indicated something was wrong. All right, 1 second. I almost got it reset here. You guys don't need to hang up just yet. I will get to everyone's calls who's on the board. I saw somebody just... Well, unless we're all glitched out. Bizarre. I guess the world of NASCAR didn't like the information he was dropping. All right, here, let's try it again. New York, can you hear me? Okay, we got it back. Yeah, we got it back.
Hey, what's up, Zach? What's good? I got a couple points I want to make. Biden today, they sending 31, what's the 31? Leopards or tanks or whatever, what they sending to Ukraine, that's 31?
31 tanks, yeah.
And I'm just thinking about all the 31 that was in these football games the past couple of weeks.
31's the 11th prime. Football's 11 on 11.
So I was curious why they pick 31 tanks to send over there. Why couldn't it be 30 or 35?
Well, what I thought about is what's 31 days from the 25th day of the year? The 56th day. The 56th day. 56. So I think it has something to do with that.
What'd you say?
I think it has something to do with 31 days later, which will be the 56th day of the year. We know how much they like 56.
Okay, let me get to my next point. The LeBron James, he scored 46 last night, so he scored 40 on all 30 NBA teams. He's 178 points away from passing Kareem, and they say he's estimated to pass them, maybe February the 7th?
Yeah, just so people don't know, LeBron scored 46 versus the Clippers. Clippers does equal 46 in Gematria, and he became the first player to score over 40 against every NBA team in the league. So
what you think about the day he gonna pass Kareem? You think he's gonna be? They predicting February 2nd.
Oh, now it's up to February 2nd?
The perfect day from the past will be on the 42nd day, right? What's the 42nd day in February?
February 11th.
February 11th. So he might not pass him on the 7th.
Well,
he might be the 11th.
That ESPN predictor for when he'll pass Kareem, it keeps fluctuating back and forth between February 9th, which is Lakers-Bucks, which is Kareem's old team. Kareem played for Lakers and the Bucks. And February 11th would be Curry. February 2nd's the Pacers, which is the 33rd day of the year. LeBron used to do a ton of rituals against the Pacers because Indiana Pacers does equal LeBron James. And let me check. Does the word history... Hold on. Let me check if history also equals the same thing real quick. It's slipping my mind right now if history equals the same thing. History, yeah, history's 114, LeBron James 114, Indiana Pacers 114, so he could make history on the 33rd day of the year against the Pacers. He did a lot of rituals back in the day with the Pacers, back in his Cavs days. I'd always be documented. I'm like, man, another big ritual with LeBron and the Pacers. So,
but if he don't do it on the 42nd day, he do it in the 42nd month. If it's not the 42nd day, he's doing it in the 42nd month.
For people like, what do you mean the 42nd month? He means February. We call that the 42 month. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And plus Jordan's birthday is what, February 17th. So he gonna pass him maybe a couple of days before Jordan's birthday.
Yeah, he would. While Jordan's still 59 years old, mind you, Michael Jordan 59, the 17th prime NBA 17. Yeah.
So the Lakers are playing. They got a game tonight. I don't know what the score is, but before the day's game, they say he needed 178 points. So I don't know how many points he gonna score tonight. So like he probably might be down to maybe 150 probably after tonight's game maybe.
Tonight he's taking it easy. So far he's only got 10 points at the half.
So 168 points away.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, but this is what I really want. You think anybody's going to drop before he passed his record?
Well, he is 38 years old. He averaged 38 points a game for his 4 games after turning 38 years old, and it started in Georgia, the 4th state. That Jacksonville football player died at age 38 right afterwards. But yeah, I actually haven't given that much thought to when LeBron will do it. If he ended up slowing down and doing it against Kareem's team, I mean, that'd be
pure mockery.
It
would worse to him getting the 4th place against Philly and Kobe dying the next day.
Right. Yeah, that just seems like the way the NBA would typically do it. But we'll see what happens. It's not too far away. So.
All right, that's it. I just wanted to make that point about LeBron. Cause you always say the bodies drop around LeBron. So I'm just curious if anybody's going to drop before that or on that day or probably after that day.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough.
Jordan's birthday coming up soon during that time.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. All right. Well, I appreciate the thoughts.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, that's it, Zach.
All right, take care.
Okay.
All right, I got messed up where I was on the call board. 702, did we talk?
Hey, what's up?
Did we talk already?
What's up? No.
Oh, okay. You got the floor then. Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, hey, what's going on? I mean, I've talked to you before, like a year ago.
Okay, but not tonight.
Not tonight. Not tonight, man. Oh, no, I just thought it was bring up a video. Like, I know you can't bring up videos on here, but I wanted to like tell the caller or the other listeners an interesting, like, it's a Jimmy Fallon with Julianne Moore from the Tonight Show video about Gematria.
Really?
And yeah, it's called Mad Libs Theater with Julianne Moore. That's the name of the YouTube video. I don't know, like maybe you could just type it up. You don't have to, obviously you can't watch it or play it, but I could just tell you what it is though. But it's a because I know you haven't I've noticed, you guys don't talk a lot about Gematria. Like I live with my older parents, so they watch the typical Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right. I watch Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. That's what I like to watch on TV, YouTube, whatever. And these shows are all, incorporating Gematria every day. Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right. They're all Gematria. It actually Gematria to where it's not organic. You can tell it's not possible for it to be organic.
Sure.
And in fact, this Mad Libs Theater right here with that one you're showing right there, he asked Julianne, the whole skit is not even funny. He's just asking Julianne Moore simple questions like name a boy's name. And she's like, Charlie. And he's like, now name a food that you like. And she's like, oh, bananas. And then she corrects herself a couple times. And then he goes, give me a number. And she goes, 13,225. Okay, so I was like, okay, I guarantee everything she just said is going to add up to 13,225. In fact, I even corrected what she corrected and typed that in. And of course, it equaled to, exactly the number that she said.
Huh.
And I even showed this to my parents, and they're like, what in the world? Because I tell them this stuff all the time, Even that one really freaked them out.
Sure.
Because he just told her name a random number. And it was everything that she said, every question she answered up to that point equals that random number if you type it into the calculator.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay. And he does it in, like Jimmy Fallon gives away, he does 12 days of Christmas sweaters. right? And he's like a Hanukkah mockery, a Christmas mockery.
Sure.
Every time he calls, he goes by your seat number. So he'll pull a seat number up. He'll be like, seat number 213. And then the person will come down and be like, oh, I'm Kathy from New York. And then you'll put Kathy, New York in there, and it equals 213 or whatever it is. You know, I'm not saying it's 213. I'm just using an example.
Sure.
You know, and it's every single time. This goes with Jeopardy. Like, I was watching Jeopardy. I don't watch it. My parents watch it. I tell them to not watch it, that it's rigged. You know, do you know there was a Jeopardy guy that admits from Vegas, he said he uses numerology to place football bets.
Okay.
That was the guy. I think it was Ken, or I don't know, not Ken Jennings. It was, do you remember that? I don't know if you brought that up once. It was a Jeopardy winner that was saying he bets using numerology, and he bets football sports.
Sure.
And he's from Vegas. But yeah, there was a Jeopardy the other day where the guy bid like an odd number. It was like 8201 he bid or something. And my mother's like, why do they always bid these odd numbers? And then, you know, the answer to the thing was like, you know, Gone with the Wind or something like that. And of course it equaled 8201. It was right there on the cipher, you know, and I showed them that. Like, that's why he did this. You know, it's like, it goes with Prices Right all day. Like, all these shows are rigged, and they're putting Gematria into it. And shows like that video that I just showed you, that Jimmy Fallon, they're putting it right in your face. Right there telling you, name a number. And she's like, she didn't even have to think about the number. She just said it. You can clearly see she's reading a script. And she was told to say all these answers. And they all equaled that exact number. You can see it right in the beginning of that video. and they do this a lot. So. That's all, man. I'm just saying it's pretty crazy.
Indeed, you know? I'll check that out.
And just to throw out a quick other one that has to do with the numbers. Sometimes I like to tell you other things about numbers. You know, I just think it's kind of funny with the whole Ukraine thing, with the play on words, you know, the Crimea River in the Donbass region, which sounds like dumbass.
Sure.
The dumbass region.
Sure.
You know, Crimea River.
Sure.
Ukraine is an anagram, or Iran, rain, nuke. Okay, you got Iran and nuke and rain right there in the Ukraine. So who's going to shut the lights off? Who are they going to blame? Probably Iran. Kind of biblical, right? Persia. You know, Persia's coming, you know, so I just love the play on word stuff, you know. It's funny how they keep doing this in all the news every day with Sheriff Luna. I mean, how funny, how ridiculous can you get?
The standoff in almost Alamo, indeed. Appreciate it, friend.
Right. Yep.
All right, have a good night.
Man.
Take care.
Yeah.
And yeah, just for the record, today's 25/1, like 251, the 54th prime. 3 years ago today, LeBron passed Kobe Bryant in points scored, scoring the 54th points of the game. Funny, the Spurs are up 54-53 on LA at the half, who just happens to be on 26 losses, the Bryant number at this time. But Kobe Bean Bryant in Gematria equals 54, Los Angeles 53. And it's nothing unusual. You learn the numbers for the teams. You see how night after night at halftime, final score, it's ritual after ritual, and that's how we can so often nail the games and the outcomes. Just like the Timberwolves today had great value and a great riddle to get it done, and nice W. So, anyhow, let's go back to our NASCAR friend here, who didn't get to finish his thoughts. The phone line glitched. All right, if you want to go back to where you were, you're back on.
Okay, I'm not sure where I was, but what I want to put out there is I go by Illegal Smile on the Mighty Networks, and my work is provable all the way. If you go back down and see what I did on Joey Logano last year, it's rock solid, and they're doing the same stuff this year. And Zach, one more thing, and I'll let you get to the next caller. I have my last two posts, I call them N-word Part 1 and N-word Part 2 on Kyle Larson. They probably take about 5 minutes for you to read through. And I just want you to grade my paper, not on the air, but, you know, look at it, let me know, and maybe let people know because I need help. I can do one driver, two drivers, but I can't do them all. It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, NASCAR.
Are you there?
Yeah, I got your post up on the screen.
And then one more thing, one more little plunk on Larson in the championship. You know, they do this Hall of Fame, and they're really celebrating the 75th anniversary. This is another really good clue of NASCAR. and Larson won on 10/23. That's the last win that he got. That was last year, and that's a huge day for him because that's the day that little Ricky Hendrick was killed in a plane accident. And so they made a big deal about him winning on Ricky Hendrick Day, and he's done that a couple times. And so that race day to the championship in Phoenix is 300 and it's the 379, the 75th prime. So from 10/23 to 11/5 in Phoenix is let me tell you how many days. 379 days, including the end date. And then back to the N-word part, it's 1 year, 2 weeks. And I've got a bunch of, and it's real simple, real short, real sweet, clear and to the point. I haven't added the Gematria yet, but trust me, the Gematria, because I've been doing this for a long time, I've been practicing and practicing. I like to stay in my corner, keep my mouth shut, listen to you, and practice what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I got it. I hope everybody can come over and help.
Okay, for all the NASCAR enthusiasts out there, and again, for people who don't know, there's people who've nailed some NASCAR races, and NASCAR races have huge odds. It's almost like for people who put in a future for and wait for an entire NFL season, you can just do it on a weekend with NASCAR because there's so many drivers. And if you guys like decoding, if NASCAR's your thing, yeah, go to freetofindtruth.com or download the Mighty Networks app and type in GematriaEffectNews. You'll find the platform. Search Illegal Smile, just like you see on the screen. And he's looking for people to link up and help him out with the decoding. And I know there's other people out there doing it. So yeah, you guys might as well all work together. Put your minds to the task.
Right. And I'm on the narrative, Zach. Kyle Larson had a little baby boy. He named him Cooper Donald Larson. You got to go back and read my work from like 2021 and the stuff that I put on Rod's Discord back in 2020 about the Copper World Classic. They named their kid Cooper. Then this guy goes in the fucking Hall of Fame, this old man, and he drove the Cooper car. It's amazing what they're doing. It's word soup, but it's what they are doing. And then when they said Larson's going to go race the Indy 500, it told the whole tale right there.
Okay.
It told the whole thing because...
Hey, we're almost out of show, and there's a couple more people on hold. I want to let them get on, but you guys, for all the other people who are enthusiastic about decoding in NASCAR, find Illegal Smile because he's been working hard at it for a long time now, and he is looking for some decoding buddies. So I appreciate what you do, friend. Thank you.
Can you grade my paper?
Yeah, I will try to do that, you know.
Okay.
All right.
It only takes you 2 minutes to read it.
Sure. I'll do it, okay?
Thanks,
all right,
man.
Take care.
All right, later.
Yeah. I wish days were longer. Let's go out to 661. 661, what's going on?
Hey, Zach, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. Welcome.
The movie two days back, you're aware of that movie with Brian Koberger's sister?
I wasn't. 2 days back, okay.
Yeah, it came out in 2011, so that's 11 years ago, or 11 years from the Moscow incident.
Okay.
They don't give a exact date, but you got to look it up. I sat through it, man. I watched through it. It's about college kids from an area in Pennsylvania who go up on a mountain called Witches Mountain, and they're trying to. It's like an environmental club, and they're trying to stop some other students who are the foresters. They're going up to cut trees, and they're trying to stop them, and basically it turns into this crazy slasher movie.
Huh.
And a bunch of college students get killed.
I see. And it goes back to Pennsylvania for him. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's 11 years. So there's that, and that blew me away, the 818, when she mentioned Koberger. I knew there was something about that name, and then she said Saxe Coburg Gotha, and I was like, boom, there it is. And so now if that whole scene, the whole Idaho thing is related to what's going on now, or just piggybacking off of it, something that came to my mind was that there's kind of like an as above, so below element to this, because you have the Southern California and the Northern California incidents, and the Monterey Park was about Luna, which is the Latin goddess of the moon, but of the heavens, the goddess in the heavens. Now there's a goddess on the earth of the moon as well, and that's Diana. I think she's the goddess of the half moon.
Okay.
But I could be wrong about that, but she's the goddess of the moon on earth. So it's kind of like they're flipping it, you know, it's Northern California, Southern California, as above, so below, but they're flipping it, you know, but it's kind of that element, you know, how they kind of like to do that as well.
Indeed.
So there would be a kind of a connection, maybe. I have to look at the dates and stuff.
We
like
ran
that
out of
between
show.
Diana,
You guys will be back
Charles,
next week. Call us back next
Okay.
week, friend. You got good info. We'll be right back next Wednesday. All right. That is the end of the show. And I'm sure it'll be a memorable show, maybe for not all the right reasons. But yeah, again, I think, you know, once Rambo, you know, he started in a little bit of a surprising way, and at the end he was explaining that he had kind of a rough week. And I mean, that's just kind of the way it is as a human being, right? It's just like something bad happens, and then, you know, you're maybe a little bit more sensitive or more irritable, and then, yeah. So anyway, and I can relate because, again, in the going on decade I've been doing this, I've definitely become a lot less nice of a person. It's like I'm ready to rip people's faces off. I'm tired of getting trolled every day. I'm tired of all these trolls and idiots. But yeah, anyway, I'd ask that no one holds a grudge against Rambo. Again, Rambo's done great work for the community, and he's definitely advanced the work. And you know, he expressed that he didn't feel as supported as he'd like to feel. So I'll try to be more supportive. I thought I was doing a good job, but I guess I can do a better job. So, and shout out to all the mods. You know, shout out to Justin Explains Everything. I appreciate the videos he made the last week. Wish more people made videos like that. And shout out to One Infinite Consciousness. Still remains to be seen who's going to finish their book first. But yeah, I should have finished my book so long ago. It's amazing. It's like a whole nother year's gone by. I feel like I've been stuck in a cement. Oh, yeah, you can go back and listen. It's just, he felt like I'd been too critical of his work lately, but I didn't think I'd been that critical, so. Well, I appreciate that you felt that way, Shark. Shark, I think Shark's mother must have told him, if you don't have anything bad to say, or no, that's not how it goes. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it, because all that ever comes out of Shark's mouth are nice things. And I appreciate that about Shark. Shark's a classy guy. I sent a joke in the chat about Shark later, but Sweet Lady really is a big Shark fan. She was watching the footage on New York. She's like, who's that guy? He's dressed very nicely. I like that guy. I said, yeah, he was a great guy too. She got a kick out of the Truth Seeker discount story and everything. So, anyhow. Sorry, LA. I feel like I should be there, but I will come down there later this year. I'm going to drive down there. I didn't want to fly. I want to be able to put the speaker in the car, so. Yeah, writing a book isn't easy. It's not. Yeah, that might be true, Anna B. The best ways to get the knowledge out there, I'd say whatever means possible. Whatever means possible. However you can do it. Some people, it's like putting a sticker up on a bulletin board. Any way and every way. What's up, DK Stonewood?
Give me like 20 seconds, finish this bong.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yesterday when I was in Yakima, I'm gonna try to never smoke again in my life. I don't have anything against smoking. It's just sweet lady. She just gets all over me anytime she goes, "Oh, you got that bong breath." And anyway, but I've been totally sober since I moved to this house. I haven't had any gummies or anything. I was contemplating getting some gummies yesterday. I feel like it brings out my creative side, so I might have to go back and at least pick up some gummies. But let me know when you're ready, DK.
We gotta send Rambo a pack of gummies.
Yeah. I think he's having a rough week. I think that's ultimately what happened. So.
Alrighty. Needed a little bit of water there too.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So.
What? Oh, here we go. I was gonna say, did they delete all my notes? Looks like they did. How is that possible? Oh, that's so weird. Let me try to X that out. I saved it on my phone's notes, and then now I'm pulling up notes, and it's just empty.
Huh.
Oh, here we go. And it must have been by heart anyways.
Somebody asked me, how don't I have a volcano as a vaporizer? I actually used to have one of those. And I actually gave it away. But go ahead, DK.
That's a nice present to give away. That's $600.
Yeah. To me, again, vaporizers are cool, but honestly, I prefer smoking by a lot. So, anyhow.
Yeah, the cerebral effect is way more magnified if you do it, if you smoke. As far as getting cannabinoids in your actual system, it's going to be more in the volcano. But if you have one of those volcanoes where you can dial the temperature, you can just turn it up really high to where it's like vaporizing most of it and burning some of it, so you get like a little bit of the combination effect. But for me, what I do is I take a bag, I have like the huge 5-gallon bags. I'll dust one of those bags, then I'll take a couple bong hits, and then I'll leave the house. You know what I mean? It's like,
sure.
That's how you maximize it. So, I mean, I haven't been following you that long, so I don't know. But since I've been following you, this is the second psyop that you basically showed up to while it was happening or while they were filming.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been any before, but the one was with that Captain Lee, and then now this is the second one as far as since I've been watching.
Yeah.
And it looks like, again, you caught them with their pants down. Nobody called them ahead of time and told them you were coming, so you showed up. The guys, they don't even have the caution. They were just like, Yakima's so small, there's nobody here. We don't have to work today. Okay, we got an easy one, guys. And it's just like, I don't know if anybody's ever been on like a shoot for, whether it's just a commercial or a movie or whatever. It's very, very much the same. So the company who's ever putting it on, they take out a permit to be able to film in public and, whatever, and cause traffic and whatever it is that they're going to do. And then, for the cops, the permit is a warrant, or if they're, like quote unquote chasing a suspect that just committed a robbery, they can get around doing a lot of stuff because they're chasing somebody, that just like committed a crime. So that's like kind of like a warrant in progress. I forget the actual terminology for it, but so that's how they create the opportunity for them to do that. And then if you go on any one of these, I've been on plenty of them, there's security. A lot of them are either retired cops or off-duty cops. They usually, you don't have to put up caution tape or anything like that. People can see that there's filming going on, and you can see the trucks that look like the big U-Hauls with all the equipment in the back, and the grips going in and out, wheeling cameras and all kinds of equipment. So the security, usually there may be one guy on the perimeter, like maybe sitting on like a motorcycle that's not an official cop bike, but it looks like one. It's like the funeral ones, they're not actual official cop bikes. They just look like them. And like that's all those guys are there for. The thing is, they're already being paid, and on a public salary, cops, COPS, criminals on public salaries. So they're already being paid, so why not just use them? You're going to hire extra security and stuff? So no, they just hire the cops, and then, they're just, it's so lax for them because it's in Yakima, and then they're just like, well, what the fuck, what are we? And then you show up, and then they're like, oh shit, they haven't even gotten any of their work done. They didn't put up caution tape, like, you know what I mean? They just got caught with their pants down again, and they really needed somebody. We needed somebody else with another camera from the side, like filming you and everything that's going on. Be like, hey, I'm calling your supervisor. You guys weren't even prepared. Like, this is just a joke. You're supposed to be, the psyop's supposed to be all ready before anybody gets here. What are you guys doing? It's just like, act like you're their supervisor or something. And then, you got to this one, and, the stand around at the Alamo, the only one that was working was the little dog. That was the other
Indeed.
paycheck there, He was actually, and you're right, he probably was all agitated because, too many people around his little farm area right there, and he's like, this is way too many people, so you came close to him, you just put a little hole in your pants.
I couldn't believe it. I never had a dog bite me before, but he nipped me in the back. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they do that like that. Just, my dog does that to my cat all the time. They just like lunge real quick, and if they get you like in the hand or in the bare foot or something, they'll put like a little hole in you or in your pads or something. It's funny how quickly that happened, though. It didn't feel like nothing, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't a big deal, but I was just like, what in the world with this dog, man? So somebody said it's a herding type of dog, and that's what they do. So I was like, oh, that makes sense because it is on the farm.
It looked like a miniature collie, kind of.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, like, in what other industry can you speak to customers the way cops speak to the general public?
Exactly, man. That's why I cannot stand cops.
And how we accept that. Like, there's no other industry you could possibly work in talking to people. Like, you'd be fired instantly on the spot to respond to any customer in that way. And on top of that, the customers are actually the paycheck as well. The customers are collectively paying your paycheck, and then to behave that way towards them. And then if we look at like the preponderance of how much that goes on, they're being trained to be that way. It's not happening by accident so proliferously. You know what I mean?
Right. The two lines I got a kick out of for the cops yesterday was, while he was in the middle of shoving me, I was like, hey man, I pay your salary, my taxes. He's like, I know you do, thank you. And then he goes back to shoving. I was like, this guy's out of his mind. And then
that just shows you he's just program robot. He doesn't even realize what he just said. Like he's just
exactly. It's like, what? And then the other guy's like, I'm not telling you anything the way you treated my guys out here today. I'm like, the way I treated your guys? What? I asked him some questions, pointed out some observations, got shoved around. I didn't realize I was treating people poorly.
Yeah, you're a public servant, dude. You're putting yourself out there. You're supposed to be the one behaving, in a certain way on a public salary. Don't try to turn that shit around on the public. You work for us. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what on earth are you even talking about? Go talk to any other boss that way. I mean, you're lucky if you get paid for that week. You'd even have to go fight for that last paycheck. They'd be so pissed at you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just incredible what we've been. How would you call it when they make you so numb? The way people are just so numb to it and accustomed to that. Like, that's just how it is. Like, if anybody else talked to you like that in public, you'd punch them in the fucking teeth. You know what I mean? Like, imagine somebody just talking to you like that at like the store or something.
Right, and then start shoving you? Exactly. That's what's annoying. Like exactly. That guy deserved to get decked in the face, but if I do that, then I'm in all kinds of trouble.
Then you may get even shot right there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, how did we get to where we're at now? Where like not only are the cops not afraid to mistreat the public, but it's just commonplace. And like, some of these guys that they'll have in charge will have they'll be like the most tyrannical, like the gray-haired guy that was this time. All the other guys were standing back, and he was kind of in charge of being the how would you call it, the enforcer. Like in hockey, he's the one that's cross-checking everybody.
Right.
So, I mean, just the fact that we, like we don't have every time we see that, we don't have like people, you know, literally like you said, punching these guys in the face. Like, dude, don't fucking talk to people like that. Don't touch me. You know, like, you don't. Where do you get these extra rights that another person doesn't have? Because you got a badge from a Cracker Jack box hanging off your shirt. Like, come on, dude.
Right.
You know, the fact that we've allowed that, I understand there's people that are that disconnected from their own soul and all that they could be, you know, basically usurped and turned into, you know, stormtroopers working for Darth Vader. But the fact that the general public accepts it is even worse to me. You know, like, we don't have this kind of disdain for like firemen and paramedics and all that stuff that like people do toward police for a reason, because they're the only ones that act that way towards like their own customers. You know, it's just crazy.
Indeed.
You know, I just wanted to comment on the Luna thing. You know, I mean, it's Chinese Lunar New Year every year, basically. So I don't, you know, when I don't know if like we can say necessarily is there a pattern as far as that's concerned, or should we be looking at more like the year of the rabbit holes?
Well, you know they'll do all sorts of stuff. Part of the reason I think they did so big of a ritual with the Lunar New Year is because the word moon in the most simple cipher is 57, and it goes beyond the Gematria. I forget what the proper terminology is, but the orbit of the moon around the Earth, the way they measure it, it's like it goes 57 degrees. Like, I don't even have the terminology right now, but there's a 57 in the measurement of the way the moon is when it orbits the Earth as well.
Yeah, it's called the ecliptic.
Yeah, I think that's right. And so anyhow, it's right before Super Bowl 57, right? Super Bowl 57's coming up. And of course, in the NFL, they do play on Monday, Moon Day. And again, San Francisco's on the verge of the Super Bowl. It remains to be seen if they'll make it. But you had the shooting in the Bay Area at Half Moon Bay. And again, like I said, the day of the Cowboys-Niners game, that was the day of all the coverage of the Lunar New Year festival shooting from late the evening prior. And again, it was 103 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday and the 103rd NFL season, and Dak Prescott lost to the 49ers, so he stayed on 103 career games. And I think that's why, because again, the news and the sports are always so connected, and the fact that Moon's 57 and it's Super Bowl 57, I think that's all part of what's going on.
Did anyone look into if it had any connection to the Dallas Mavericks? Because I mentioned last time that the famous surf spot Mavericks is in Half Moon Bay, so I was thinking like, you know, I mean, I don't have time to look into sports, but some of the guys that do, I don't know if that had any connection. It would seem like it's more like right now, you know what I mean? The NBA season is so long, but I would think like it would have something to do with the Mavericks, like kind of right now while it's happening, you know? And then, you know, when we talk about this moon energy, I mean, originally that's the original pirate ship, you know, where the pirates came off of. And like, you know, when you have you know, this lunar energy, and that's where you get the word lunatic, you know, when you're nuts, you know, people that are in the moon energy. And then like when the sun goes down, and the moon is out, you know, and that's all you see. And then like when you're a kid and, you know, like, you know, a car drives by with somebody that you don't like, you and all your friends turn around and pull your pants down and you moon them, right? You know, it's because you're showing them your ass, just like the moon is just showing us its ass because it doesn't turn the face, it's the dark side where everything's really going on. So, I mean, I definitely understand like the chaos energy they project with, you know, with the moon. So maybe it's just as basic as that.
Yeah. And again, when I realized there really was something to full moons, was working at a group home, because anytime it was a full moon, the children, their behavioral issues just came out the most. You'd always have to write the most incident reports those nights. That there was definitely something to the full moon. I started to think about lunatic about that same time. I was like, I'm starting to see how this all works and where this language comes from. So
they even had like the laws would be lax in the Far East over there, like in the Middle East, and you know, earlier times, probably 1,000 years ago and stuff, they would even relax the laws at night because they would say, oh, people when they're out at night, because they didn't have electricity, so then they were just like, well, he was out at night, the moon got him, that's why he just was acting crazy. That it was literally like used as a, like, let's just say there was a court, it would be like a viable excuse in court, like an alibi, like, oh, it was the moon, oh yeah, and like, I mean, everybody knows that's when the freaks come out.
Right.
So yeah. And then you were just you had I don't know, was that today or yesterday? You had the post or the video on the guy Tyree, the guy that looks beat up like Rodney King.
Yeah, everyone's making me feel like an idiot. They're like, Zach, his name is not Tyre, it's Tyree. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's just Tyree spelled without, you'd think there'd be like an extra E or an I in the name, but okay, Tyree.
Nah, you were right. Look up Tyree, Lebanon, that's city in Lebanon, and plus Tyr, T-Y-R, which, vowels don't actually really exist like decimal points and zeros. It's actually a Norse god of war.
Sure. The spelling of the name looks totally made up. I thought they were calling him Tyre, like he got ran over. So
that's how you spell tire in English for like car tires.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, it's the Norse Tyr or Tyre, whatever you want to call it, is the Norse god of war and I think war tactics or something like that. So I mean, maybe that could have something to do with it. That was like the fourth. There was like 3 shootings, and then that right after. I mean, just kind of like one after the other.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be more. So.
Yeah, and I just got one other thing here that this is like probably from earlier in the week or maybe even the end of last week or something. I can't remember, but. It was a show that everybody was calling in on some fixed sport, so maybe it was like Sunday or something after football. And then I think it was a troll that was calling in, but they were talking about how these guys have time travel and they're doing like that's how they know all the scores. And I mean, I know I mentioned this before, but they claim that some Jesuit priests invented the chronovisor in the 40s, right?
Okay.
And that chronovisor was a technology stolen from Tesla. Another one where Tesla claimed he was able to, that there was a field, like a morphogenic field of information that you could tap into, that you could look at the past and the future. And it had to do with, it was basically like an 8-sided bismuth crystal that he had fixed in a thing, and he would subject it to like various electromagnetic fields and cymatic frequencies at the same time. And when you put pressure on that crystal, like that being the fact that it's like 20-30 million years old, because that's how long it takes to form a crystal, and it's basically just made out of water and minerals. Water holds memory, so all the memory for like 20-30 million years is actually compressed into the crystal if you know how to activate it. That's how Superman like revitalizes his whole house at the North Pole and all that. It's the North Pole too. Wonder why he didn't do it in Antarctica. But anyway, so so he can revitalize this whole palace because it has the memory just in the one crystal. So by subjecting these crystals to these various fields, it would end up projecting out images of like past and future events. This is what Tesla claimed, and then they killed him and stole all his stuff. So then they said that a Jesuit priest invented this chronovisor thing, which was like ended up in like the military industrial complex being called looking glass technology, where they can peer into the future, but not the actual future, just possible futures. So there was one that they claimed like 1971-ish or something, that they went into the future, like to the year 2000 something, and the White House was underwater. Like there was some type of like Katrina type flood, and most of it was damaged, and not like completely underwater, but you could tell there had been some type of major flood there. And obviously none of that happened. So I mean, they could be possibly looking at these future timelines, and along with their planning the rituals and owning everybody that's all the actors within it. So like using a combination of the two. So, I mean, I think that caller sounded kind of like a troll, but some of that stuff that he said is viable. I mean, I knew that stuff like when I was in junior high about like the coronavisor and stuff. So that's like really old info too. It's not even anything new. So, I mean, I definitely think they could be using a combination of the two. And they have this D-Wave computer. I forgot what it's called. They have one that's called the Beast that monitors all the financials for the whole planet, and then all the information is always brought to in England in the financial district, and they bring it like this back road behind Buckingham Palace. So that's where kind of like they show you in the moving Trading Places, where the guy comes in the black car and he's delivering all the information for what's going to happen in the stock market for the next day and the next week, which like he's delivering the script basically. So they have this like D-Wave computer that's predicting everything, possible. So they're constantly investing their money in the stock markets, to try to make money, because all this evil on earth is subsidized. They're not, it doesn't make money contrary to popular belief. It's all for money. No, money's fake. It's all for control. And, the fact that you believe in the money is the main part of the control system. And the fact that you need it is the control system. And then they're just like making you think that all these people are making all this money when they're really not. They're just guys that are on contract, that are actors, that have to do stuff. And part of their role is that they're a, professional basketball, football, whatever player making $50 million a year. That's actually part of their role. That doesn't mean they're really doing that. That's what is presented to us. So I do think it's probably a combination of the two, on top of it using technologies, like magnetic gloves and various things like that. So, that's the end of this list right here. Only other thing I could say is I did a show maybe like a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, and already now on the missing link. It's interview 383. If you want to pull that up, that's for like 2 hours where I go into stuff that I don't like necessarily talk about here on your show, like different genres of stuff. If people are interested and they want to go, hear me go off on stuff that I don't normally talk about here on Zach's show, check out interview 383 on the missing link.
The missing link. Okay.
Yeah. His last YouTube channel got taken down again, so now he's like gonna have to start number 4. He says he's already fed up with it. But so right now I think it's only missing link on Facebook and BitChute and whatever else, but the YouTube channel got taken down.
I see. So got to go to BitChute. Okay.
Or go to the Facebook one and then go to the links from that one, because I think BitChute are they starting to censor too? Was it Odyssey or I can't remember.
Well, BitChute's been censoring me for a bit. So.
Yeah, that's definitely not it. What I see on screen right now, but I'm like 5 seconds behind. So go on Facebook and then go on missing link and see what all the he's got all his links down there that used to be. That's his face with Max Egan, like the third one down.
On BitChute.
That's on BitChute? Okay.
No,
that may be Max Egan's thing though.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. The Crow House.
Yeah.
Is it this one on Facebook with the blue?
Let me see. Hold on, I'm a few seconds behind. Nope, that doesn't look like it either. That's the dude's face on the right there on the third one down with Max Egan, and that's what his background looks like. Damn, did they delete that shit too?
Well, there's so many missing links, so you got to know which one it is.
Put Jesse missing link. I think he had to add that. Yeah, people stole his thing. Jesse, like Jesse missing link.
That's him. Okay, I got it. Yeah, with Jesse.
Yeah, and the last one I did was probably like 3 weeks ago now. I think it was like beginning of January. It was interview 383. It's probably up over 400 already. Who knows?
Okay. Okay, yeah. You said it was a few weeks back?
It was like beginning of January, like January 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I can't remember what day it was. So, but I know it's interview 383. He sent me the link to it, but then when I went, I couldn't even go off the link. I had to go back myself to find it, and then I just copied it so I could share it to a couple people who wanted.
Okay, yeah. Search for episode 383. There's probably a quicker way to do that. He posts a lot of stuff on here. He's busy.
Does it show you the dates of those posts? I can't. It's kind of small. Let me enlarge this. Oh yeah, those are all like one day. Those are all kind of recent. It says one day. So you'd have to go back. Oh, there it is. 395. Yeah. So you got to go like 12 interviews prior. I don't know. Most of these people, I have never even heard of them. I don't know about you, but when I see these names of all the other people who got interviewed, I know some of them, but most of them I never even heard of.
Yeah. 391. Okay. Getting there. But man, he posts a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know how he finds these people. I asked him, he goes, most of them just, people send me like, hey, you got to interview this person. And then I'll go look at some of their stuff. And if it seems interesting, then I'll just interview him. He's all, but I know I interview people, some of them are stupid. It just, it is what it is,
Sure.
So I'm trying to get as many people as possible to get everyone's perspective, and then people can make of it what they want. So sometimes you'll have on like a David Icke or somebody big like that, but some people like David Icke needs to get interviewed by somebody like me, not by people who can just kind of throw him generic questions. I want to ask him some very specific stuff that would, I think, really determine whether he's controlled opposition or not.
Sure. Wait, how did I skip yours? 382. How did I pass 383?
Yeah, they may have even deleted it. See, such a fucking joke. What date are you on? It's going so fast right now. I can't even read the date. What does that say? January?
Now I just scrolled back up past January 6th. 384. I'm seeing 384. And 383 seems to be missing.
That's funny. Out of 400 videos, they can't find any other one that's a problem, but that one is, huh?
Yeah, 383 is missing.
That's funny.
Oh, wait. No, it's down below. There it is. Somehow 382 is above 383.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe that's, maybe it's like an intro to, like, it's going to come up. I still don't see it. I'm a couple seconds behind. I'm watching your scroll right now.
Yeah, somehow 382 is above 383, but it's here.
Okay.
Here, I'll share it on my page.
Truth does not exist? I mean,
It's just my Facebook page.
Oh, your Facebook page, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it goes. I just saw it.
Yeah, I'll post it on my page. That way, if people want to listen to it, it'll be easier to find, so they don't have to scroll all the way down. Okay.
Yeah, and people were asking me all about like my other places that I post. They blocked me again right before all these shootings, so I can't expose it ahead of time. So I may start doing like I had on my old YouTube channel, where I just do like kind of just quick videos here and there, kind of like drive time videos like you do, except they won't be 45 minutes. They'll be like 10 minutes, just kind of going over basic, just kind of going over basic shit like rants, kind of like how you do. I think those are some of the most probably viable, like that video of you in the car when it's going dark, just some of the stuff you're saying, that shit needs to be on the airwaves to every sheep. It's so like raw and natural, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, I think and then unfortunately these videos where you show up to these scenes as it's going on, that's like the most important video for people to see, but like you said, they're like totally boring if you don't know what you're looking at, you know what I mean? It just seems like this is the most boring video ever, but like that's how you see what's actually going on. It's completely fake. Like they're just, they're filming a commercial over there of SWAT guys running. It might as well be like a, recruitment video. And that's the whole photo op. That's why they need the cops to make the perimeter so they can bring in their, mocking Jew media to film a couple scenes, and then they could go cut it when they get back to their, the Jewish studios, and then they show it as some kind of fear porn.
Indeed. Yeah. The guy for Fox with the big camera was definitely a Jewish guy. He said he.
Yeah, it's funny how some of these like fake Jewish families, they're super tall. You could just tell it runs in their family. They're all like 6'3", 6'4"-ish or whatever, kind of like all the politicians. Not an athletic bone in their body, but they're tall.
Sure.
I sent a couple of these news crews packing. Just when they were not like on scene like that of a shooting or whatever, but just like, especially during COVID, they would just be, like when they reopened the beaches, they would come out there and then they're like filming a story. And I was like, you guys are not filming fake news here in my neighborhood. You're not. I'm telling you as a man, you're going to fucking leave right now, or you're going to film me talking shit to you, calling you fake Jews, fake news, and everything else. And I have no problem with that, man. I'll stand right here and do it. You're not filming shit right here in front of me. I'm telling you. And they just packed up their shit and left. There's nothing they could do. And then I have some people actually, from my own neighborhood, they come by and be like, it's not their fault. What are you going off on them? I'm like, no, it is their fault. You're just too stupid, and they're making it your fault too. You're defending the evil. You don't even realize that without this shit, nothing happens. They don't have their peon salesmen selling this shit to stupid people like you. It doesn't work. So that's why we got to stop this. And they probably just drove 20 blocks away, up the beach and post it up over there. But if there was somebody like me 20 blocks away, they wouldn't be able to do it at all. And that's how, like what you're saying, if there was one like you in every town, just one. There should be hundreds, dozens, hundreds.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's not more people doing similar things to what you're talking about, because we got cameras, we got phones, we got connections to the internet. It seems that there's, it seems there's 100 and some thousand people on YouTube who are privy to what's going on. It's like, go out and don't just be the spectator, become part of whatever you want to call it, the independent journalism, the exposers of the operations. There's somebody in every city who's awake who could be out there doing it. So
yeah, and you don't. It doesn't have to be some planned thing. If you're just driving in your car and you're like about to be late for work or something, and you see some shit happening, hop out of your car and start filming them as fake news. Be like, I'm the real media. I'm filming you fake news as you're staging fake news. That's the news.
Right.
I'm the news right now. You're on my camera. I'm barking out. I'm the executive producer actually of of the show. You're just filming a little sideshow that I'm filming. So my documentary is bigger than yours.
Indeed.
And they know. Of course, these guys know. They wouldn't all be like Jewish if they weren't all put through the same ringer, just like how these cops act. They wouldn't be acting like that unless they were being told to act like that. It's just, there's no way that it would be such a coincidence countrywide. So many are acting like that unless that's how they're trained.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Exactly.
Anyway, alrighty. Nice talking again, and thanks for taking the call.
Okay, no problem. Have a good night, DK.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Take care. Okay. All right, True Seeker. That's a good long show. If you got here late, feel free to rewind it. Shout out to D26 in the other part of the world. D26 has all the great 201 observations. Yeah, D26, he just showed me the other day. He's like, did you know that January 20th, in addition to being 20/1, is the 201st day of the age of the U.S. each year? I said, I don't think I did realize that. That makes so much sense. And then D26 also pointed out that the old inauguration day, back when it was on March 4th, was 201 days after August 15th, the Jesuit order's birthday. So how about that? But yeah, D26 creates, he doesn't have a lot of videos on his channel yet, but every single one he has there is a gem. So make sure you give D26 a sub as well. And his 9/11 video, top notch. All right, True Seeker, I am sleepy because for whatever reason I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning and was having trouble getting back to bed. And it was happening all the time when we first moved here. I was like, why do I keep waking up like between 3:30 and 4? Well, speaking of D26, all right, okay. This can't go too long. I'm tired. All right, D26, I'm ready to go to bed, but you got at least 5 minutes. What's going on?
Yeah, I just need 30 seconds. So just one small detail. I got late to the incident, the story about Damar Hamlin. So that entire incident happened on January 2nd, right?
Yes.
So you can do some research. It's connected to George Washington's war before America got its independence, and January 2nd equals to 201.
Yeah, I was aware about that. If you spell out January 2nd, it does equal 201, indeed.
It's also 51, which is like connected to conspiracy as well as Illuminati that is founded on 5/1, like Adam Weishaupt. That's it. That was the only detail that I just wanted to add in case you forgot. I didn't see that in your articles. That's why.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I added that to that part of the decode, but you're 100% correct, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you again.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right, take care.
Yeah, you too. Have a good day.
Yes, you too. Yeah, again, what's the Elon Musk thing called? His internet thing, Starlink or whatever it is? For like this geographic region, the Northwest, it's actually headquartered out of this small town. And I seriously wonder if I don't know. I mean, it just seems like there's something that keeps waking me up here in the middle of the night. However, for I want to say it's been like a month since I woke up like I did last night, but it kept happening when we first moved here. Like I'd wake up at between 3:30 and 4 like almost every single day, and I'd be like, what is waking me up? Can't go back to bed. So that's how it was last night. Yeah, indeed. I keep the cell phone right out here. Cell phone's going to stay right out here. I don't bring it in the bedroom, so. All right, you guys. All you East Coast people, you're even up 3 hours later than me. Get some rest, stay healthy, and I'm sure we'll be back on the grind tomorrow. Tomorrow's the Kobe anniversary. Kind of feel bad that I'm not in LA. Feel like I should be there, but we'll do it. We'll do it right later this year. Till next time, True Seeker. Have a good evening, or if you're in the D26 part of the world, have a great day. Till next time.